I spent 10 years learning how to trade stocks. I never expected that just after I became a fund manager, my parents would go bankrupt from the stock market and were about to jump off a building. But seeing this scene, not only was I not afraid, but I actually burst out laughing. Because this day, I've waited over 20 years for it. But at that moment, seeing my crazy reaction, my colleagues all thought I went mad from the shock of my parents jumping. But what they didn't know was, the person I am now is not the person from just now, but someone from 20 years in the future. In the original timeline today, my parents went bankrupt after Hong Kong stocks plummeted without warning. Unable to handle the pressure, they jumped off the rooftop. But what they didn't know was, 48 hours later, the Hong Kong stock market rebounded sharply, recovering 7,000 points and hitting a record high. And that became my biggest regret in life. Even though I later became the world's top stock god with a net worth of billions, this scar would still torment me at certain moments. But what I never imagined was, just now, I somehow returned to the moment my parents were about to jump. So the very next second, I ran up to the rooftop as fast as I could, hoping to save my parents. Actually, in my last life after my parents jumped, I returned home. And while studying my father's analysis, I found that my father's formula was correct. But the relative who loaned us money, Shen Yuan, in order to stop the loss, not only canceled my father's credit card, but also spread rumors everywhere, making it impossible for my father to borrow new funds to hedge his bets. This is why my parents missed the glimmer of hope 48 hours later. Thinking about this, I ran upstairs with everything I had. But the next moment, when I saw my father holding my mother's hand, and they were just about to jump, I abruptly shouted, "Dad!" Hearing my shout, my parents turned around, overwhelmed with guilt. Zhao Zhuan's dad, "I'm sorry, we ruined the rest of your life." Hearing this, I hurriedly said, "No apologies. Dad, your theory is correct. Just hold on for 2 more days. The Hong Kong market will rebound." Hearing that, my parents paused for a moment, but only for a second. "Careful, Dad. The money we were going to use to cover the losses has already been frozen. Don't try to talk Papa out of it. I can't let you take on 4 million of our family debt." Damn. I've dreamed countless times of coming back to this day. But I didn't expect, even if fate granted my wish, my father had lost all hope. No matter what I said, I couldn't change his will to die. There's only one chance. So I quickly took out my beeper and shouted at my dad, "Dad, I have a way to cover the losses." What? At that moment, hearing my words, my parents froze. In 1998, right after the Buddhist state's financial crisis, the Hong Kong stock market got hit hard. Kyushu's financial market suffered overwhelming destruction. The investment god Soros saw through Asia's financial structure and used huge capital to short Hong Kong stocks, reeling in billions of dollars. That's what the textbooks say. But according to my research, it was because Kyushu lacked investment opportunities, which created a financial loophole that allowed Soros to exploit it. So I pushed for time. "Dad, let me show you a piece of news." Back on August 8th, Kyushu's authorities already announced a plan to save the stock market. Kyushu Bank will inject liquidity to protect Hong Kong. Just hold on for these 2 days, and the market will rebound. Protect Hong Kong at that moment. My father's brows furrowed. Is that even possible? The reason the Hong Kong market crashed so fast is because the government can't step in. If they try to intervene, the cost is enormous, causing inflation, which could crash Kyushu's entire economy. Seeing my father was doubtful, I continued, "Dad, listen to me. I've studied Kyushu's economic environment. Kyushu is in an investment crunch right now. All other countries have cut off investment to Kyushu. Hong Kong stocks are their only way out. Kyushu's still printing money and starting tons of infrastructure projects. Dad, aren't you a trader? This is going long." Going long just means constantly buying up investment assets, which won't bring returns in the short term, but if held long term, can become the lifeline for sustainable economic development. If Kyushu's authorities want to go long, to make those infrastructure investments worthwhile, they can't let the Hong Kong market crash. They absolutely won't. That makes sense. For some reason, my father Shen Zun, who had been a trader all his life, suddenly felt that my words carried more weight than all his years of experience. You know, finance is really closely linked to policy. But, Dad, listen. You don't have to worry. Shenzhen hesitated a moment, then said through clenched teeth, you know how I've been helping you keep an eye on the market lately? I also joined a company myself, and when my boss saw my talent, he gave me a group account with 45 million inside. You know what that means, right? What? Shenzhen's father was shocked. Standing frozen, every securities group is made up of a board of directors and the Securities Commission. The board usually sets up a group account to raise money and uses it to buy low and sell high based on inside info to make a little extra in the market. This practice is called trading, but the group money must be kept safe. Zhao Zhan, you can't touch this money. Shenzhen's father was desperate. If they find out, they'll kill you. You can't do this. But Shenzhen wouldn't let go of this chance. He clenched his teeth and didn't back down. Dad, if you want me to stay alive, give me 2 days. Let me use your personal account so I can turn this around. Is that even possible? As of today, Shenzhen's father has lost 2 million in total and still needs 4.5 million more to cover. But if Shenzhen touches the group fund and loses, we're talking about a lot more than 4.5 million. Seeing Shenzhen's steely, determined look, Father Shen knew he was serious. Left with no choice, he and Mother Shen left the rooftop, his hands shaking, as he gave Shenzhen his personal account number and documents. Zhao Zhan, if you lose, I'll jump with you, Shenzhen replied coldly. We won't lose. In his last life, after becoming a financial tycoon, Shenzhen once said something famous. In the financial markets, there is only one chance. No matter how much you know, no matter how decisive you are, if you miss that one chance, you can lose everything in a second. Do you believe in your own theory? A gamble where you could win and become incredibly rich, or lose and wind up completely ruined and homeless. Countless people lost in the stock market cling to the belief that they can't lose, betting everything he had. How many people will end up empty-handed? Shenzhen left in a hurry, watching his determined back. The Shen family was devastated. It's all your fault. Our son's life is on the line. You old bastard. Shen's mother had a complete mental breakdown. She collapsed to the ground on her knees. Inside Yuanhao Securities Group, Shenzhen hurried back to his desk right away. Director Iwan saw Shenzhen return, looked at him with shock and contempt. Dows didn't jump ship after all. Millions in net worth all lost in there. And still thinking about a comeback. Might as well just die. Under his urging, all the employees returned to their desks. But Awan saw Shenzhen operating intensely with nerves on edge. Wait, does his family still have money in their account? Iwan asked, surprised. In front of the digital computer, Shenzhen forced himself to calm down. He took a deep breath. After opening the company account, he quickly input his father's personal account. Amid complex operations, transferred 4.5 million from the company account. Is this 4.5 million? Finance is just gambling. It's a game with no way back. Even though Shenzhen knew the Hong Kong stock market would rebound in 2 days, he was still so nervous he broke into a sweat. Iwan kept watching him from a distance, relying on his years of securities experience. He was sure Shenzhen was averaging down, but Shenzhen kept operating. After staring at the screen for a full 10 minutes, Shenzhen's gaze suddenly hardened, logged into the company account again. Iwan sensed something was wrong. He slowly walked over to Shenzhen. Shenzhen stared intently at the digital computer. A bold idea rose in his heart. The most captivating part of leveraged finance games is constantly increasing leverage and letting profits grow geometrically. All 40 million, put it in now. Tapped the keyboard twice. Shenzhen watched with wide eyes. As the 45 million in the company account was wiped out, he let out a long breath, remembering the thrill when he once bet everything in his past life. A wild thought surged in his mind. There's only one shot at this. As long as I tough it out, get through these 2 days, I can definitely buy the bottom. Sharos took a huge chunk out of him. After transferring the funds, Shenzhen logged out of both accounts immediately and quickly ran out of the company. Even if Iwan was an idiot by now,
he'd know Shenzhen was escaping in guilt.
Damn, what the hell did this kid just do? Did he embezzle public funds? Iwan just couldn't figure it out. After all, Shenzhen didn't have access to company funds. But in this era, digital computers didn't have the function to delete file records. When Iwan checked, the two transfers nearly made his legs give out.
He almost collapsed to the floor.
What? He actually touched President Yang's account. All night long, Shenzhen ran frantically through the streets of Beihai City. He knew the chairman of Wanhao Securities, Yang Dong, was after him, wishing he could skin him alive. But that still wasn't enough. In a hurry, he went to a shop. Shenzhen calmed down and borrowed some A4 paper and wrote a 2,000-word thesis, sent it to Yuanhao Securities Group chairman's office. Afterwards, he called his childhood friend's landline. Zhao Zhan, are you trying to get yourself killed? Did you touch President Yang's money? Because he had announced to his childhood friend through his beeper earlier, Wang Yu had been waiting for a long time, and immediately greeted him with a curse. Wang Yu's father is the business partner of Yuanhao Securities Group's chairman, Yang Dong. Back in the day, he was also the one who helped him join Yuanhao Securities Group. Sorry, Shenzhen said guiltily. Bro, I'm putting you in a tough spot this time. Don't say that. Wang Yu and Shenzhen grew up together like brothers. Their friendship is as deep as family. Bro, do you have any money on you? Any place to stay? Let me give you an address. Go hide out there first. Hearing these words, Shenzhen felt a warmth in his heart. Back in his hardest days in his past life, Wang Yu basically took care of all his daily needs. He knew this rich second generation really didn't care about money or fame, only cared about their brotherly bond. Ayao, I want to borrow some money from you. Cut the crap. Wasn't I just about to lend you money? Wang Yu cursed. It's not a huge sum left in my account. Shenzhen's eyes shone like a hunter's, with a golden gleam. Bro, I know. Your dad left you 5 million in inheritance and a house. If you mortgage that house, you can probably get 7 million worth. Lend me the whole 12 million. What? Wang Yu was stunned? How am I supposed to get that together? I don't even have 1.2 million in my account. Trust me, Shenzhen knew he had no time to explain.
He emphasized that after this time.
I'll guarantee your wealth for life. I'm hanging up now, wait for my call tomorrow. Hello? Bang! Before Wang Yu could reply, Shenzhen hung up the phone, then immediately called Yang Dong's office. At this moment, inside Yang Dong's office, a restless middle-aged man was waiting with a renowned economist. He picked up the phone. Bang! Shenzhen! You actually dared to touch my money. When Yang Dong found out, he instantly erupted with rage. He slammed the table and stood straight up. If the board members found out about the 45 million's whereabouts, that alone made him tremble nervously. This money can never see the light of day. President Yang, when you gave me the account, there was only 20 million inside. I made it grow to 45 million for you. Yang Dong's bloodshot eyes glared. We had 200 million from the board backing you up and gave you some insider info. What makes you think you could talk about earning 20 million profit? Yang Dong was spitting facts. In reality, this money, any half-decent trader could make that much with some professional knowledge. But I'm offering you a shot at multiplying your net worth by 10. Shenzhen's coldest voice came through the line. Just don't meddle with me for 48 hours. Give me 48 hours. You're insane. Yang Dong was so angry he was about to explode and sat back in his chair with a headache. You're investing in Hong Kong stocks. Why didn't you choose Japanese stocks instead? This idiot, if Shenzhen invested in Japanese stocks, even if there was a loss, Yang Dong could still help the board recover over 10 million. But given the current state of HK stocks, he was likely going to lose everything. I've already sent you my thesis summary. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for you. Go to hell! Yang Dong hung up the phone and started cursing. I'll have you dead in 24 hours. Through something in the lonely office, Yang Dong held his head in despair. There was a fax laid out on the desk. He had absolutely no interest in looking at this useless thing. Take it and have a look. Irritated, Yang Dong grabbed the fax and tossed it to the economist next to him, Professor Zhang Kong from Cambridge School of Economics. Mr. Yang, don't worry. With me here, you'll at least be able to recover your costs. Zhang Kong stood up and said. However, after carefully reading through the fax, his eyes widened more and more. His emotions fluctuated like he was riding a roller coaster. He was completely shocked. How is it? Yang Dong took a sip of water, trying to calm himself down. After thinking it over for a moment, Jiang Kang just stared fixedly at Yang Dong. He gulped. You should increase your position by 200 million. Yang Dong even spat out his water. Crazy, everyone here is crazy. Yang Dong felt like he was trapped in a nightmare. Mr. Yang, I'm really not joking. Around, please take a look first. Jiang Kang hurriedly handed the facts back to Yang Dong. At this moment, upon hearing the word interrogate, Yang Dong almost hoped to invite the king of hell up here, to have him interrogate and take people down to the 18th level of hell. Making him read this summary paper was definitely an extremely difficult task. The next 10 years. Zhuzhou Economic Report. Shen Su, author. Pretty damn bold. Yang Dong cursed. As a member of the group board, Yang Dong was once a big shot who handled billions in funds. He'd seen all sorts of ups and downs. But after reading this paper, his eyes froze for a moment. Then he read through it again. In the paper summary, Shen Su perfectly pointed out Zhuzhou's market rescue policy and concluded this was a once-in-a-century opportunity. Mr. Zhang, what's your opinion? Yang Dong snapped back to his senses, unable to decide at that moment. This summary surpassed countless long papers and K-line charts. Frowning deeply,
He said, "Is this really something written?"
by a young man in his early 20s? I truly can't believe it. This is the work of some young kid? This is absolutely at an academician's level. A cad, even in the 90s, a professor was. Someone who could make big shots like Yang Dong come and go as they pleased. What kind of concept is that?
He'd never even seen that before.
Mr. Zhang, do you really mean we should keep betting? Yang Dong was in disbelief. But after thinking for a long time, Jiang Kang still couldn't come up with an answer. Finally, he sighed and said, my skills just aren't enough. The person who wrote this report has insights ahead of their time. You'll only get the answer if you ask him directly. Early morning. After squatting all night in the bush by the gate, Shen Jun vaguely heard a string of footsteps. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. He saw a fat man wearing a gold chain, leading 7 or 8 thugs, rushing nonstop towards Shen Zun's villa. Brothers, remember not to break any valuables. Just hit the people. And make sure you snatch the property deed. Shen Yuan is that. Bastard Shen Zun glared at him, his eyes turning bloodshot on the spot. His anger so intense it looked like he wanted to devour him. In his past life, after Shen's father died, this guy used a forged contract to seize their family's villa. In reality, he only ever lent them a little over $1 million. But the villa itself was worth about 700,000. Not to mention the land the villa sat on was extremely valuable commercial real estate. After my dad died, this scumbag pocketed millions off this plot. Shen Zun gritted his teeth. This bastard only lent us money, so he could steal this piece of land from us. Sometimes relatives are even less trustworthy than outsiders. But now he still couldn't show himself. In Shen Zun's memory, Shen Yuan, this bastard, came by car. And he had a habit. He didn't trust anyone, not even his own daughter. All the company's seals and documents were kept in his car, secured with a combination lock. Shen Yuan, this time let me settle my score from the last life. But after tomorrow, I'll give you a chance. Shen Zun's eyes narrowed slightly, filled with a hint of cruelty. As long as you've got even a little conscience left, I'll give you 50 million after it's all done. When Shen Yuan swaggered into the villa with his thugs, Shen Zun pulled out a piece of steel wire from his hand and suddenly rushed toward Shen Yuan's Buick. Clack, clack. In his past life, Shen Zun, disappointed with the world, tried all sorts of jobs to make a living. Working as a locksmith, delivery guy, truck driver, he did it all. You could say all these experiences from the bottom
had merged into his blood,
becoming his survival skills. With a crisp snap, Shen Zun used just a single piece of wire to pop open Shen Yuan's car door. What he saw was an iron box secured with a combination lock. Shen Zun chuckled, but then noticed a young girl in the back seat watching him. Cousin Shen Zun sucked in a breath of cold air. This was a graceful beauty, dressed in a green floral dress. She stood about 1.7 meters tall, with long flowing hair and bright, starry eyes. Her skin was as pale as milk, and she had a refreshing elegance that's hard to put into words. Sis Kian, I've got something going on. I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you this time. Shen Zun sat in the driver's seat with a sigh. Cousin Shen Qian was stunned for a moment, then nudged Shen Zun. Why are you doing this? If my dad finds out you're driving his car, you're dead. Bullshit. He wouldn't dare kill me. Shen Zun scoffed. All he ever does is talk. Shen Qian was rooted in place, somehow feeling that her cousin seemed a bit different today. Shen Zun used to be withdrawn and quiet, only interested in studying finance. But today, not only was he bold, he even had a certain manliness about him. Sis Qian, I'll drive you home. Actually, never mind, let's go to your mom's place. Your mom's up in Beihai. Without further discussion, Shen Zun quickly shut the car door, started the Buick, and pulled out. Shen Qian watched Shen Zun in utter astonishment. Cousin, didn't uncle lend our family money? Aren't I just here to make some for us now? Shen Zun tapped the iron box. No way, Shen Qian protested. Even I'm scared of that combination. Just as Shen Qian finished speaking, she watched as Shen Zun casually reached out and pressed 44 south. The box instantly popped open. How did you know? Shen Qian asked in surprise.
Dummy.
Shen Zun didn't even look at her. He glanced at the outskirts of Harbor City and said, This isn't an ordinary lockbox. You can only open it by entering the password while the car is running. Shen Qian was so surprised her jaw dropped. She's Shen Yuan's daughter, and even she didn't know. Shen Zun went ahead. Enough talk. Shen Zun frowned and said, I'm meeting with a friend soon, so you'll stay with me today. I'll take you out for good food and drinks. But no matter what happens, you have to keep it a secret. Facing the forceful Shen Zun, Shen Qian curled up a bit like a shy girl. She stared intently at Shen Zun's profile. Not long after, in the new district of Harbor City, Ayao, how are things on your end? Shen Zun arrived at a secluded public phone booth. He got through to Wang Yu, but suddenly a sneaky voice came from behind. Why are you here again? Can you be more careful when making calls here? Shen Zun turned around with annoyance. He saw a tall man in a baseball cap, holding a brick phone and approaching him. He said this number belongs to the brick phone. Shen Zun asked in surprise. No kidding, the guy cursed. Didn't my dad tell me to keep a low profile? Told me not to tell anyone. But I can tell you this. Whatever you do not put this money in the stock market. I'm going to invest it in the stock market. Shen Zun said bluntly. Are you out of your mind? Wang Yu glared at him, then couldn't help scanning the surroundings.
He hunched over and said, Bro.
I'm not joking with you. I can't come up with that much money. This cash was forced out of my dad's finance department. I'm going to lay low for a while. How much is there? Shen Zun asked quickly. More than 8 million. Wang Yu went pale. He said I slipped my dad a few sleeping pills. By the time he wakes up, he'll definitely tie me up alive. That's loyalty. Not as much as we hoped, but 8 million is still half of Shen Zun's plan fulfilled. And looking behind Wang Yu was his dad's Mercedes. Shen Zun patted him on the shoulder and went to the trunk to get the money. He said, You can't run. I still need your help with something. What is it, bro? Are you really trying to get me killed? My dad will absolutely kill me. Wang Yu punched Shen Zun, but Shen Zun didn't hesitate and grabbed 2 travel bags full of cash from the trunk. He spoke coldly. Relax. No matter what, you're still his real son. I'm going big this time. If this works out, the money we make will let us live it up for the rest of our lives. We have just over 30 hours now. Help me find a few accountants. Take a couple of grand to set up a shell company. Open a securities account through it. Today I'm getting 5 million together. We'll split these 13 million plus and wire them in batches into those company accounts. Wang Yu stared right at Shen Zun. He suddenly felt that his childhood friend was becoming a stranger. Bro, to be real with you, if I don't get this 8 million back, my dad could go bankrupt. Wang Yu, trembling, laid out his family's finances. Afraid of failure. That's all the cash flow we have. No way. Shen Zun grabbed Wang Yu and said, Come with me. Let's get to work first. I'll call your dad in a bit and send him a big gift. Changping Village, Beihai City. A well-dressed middle-aged man in gold-rimmed glasses was searching everywhere for Shen Zun's parents. Finally, with the driver's help, he found Shen's dad in a rural house, devastated and heartbroken with old Wang. This man was Wang Yu's father. What made Shen's parents despair was hearing that Wang Yu for Shenzhen had scammed away 8 million. Such a sin. Shen's mom was sobbing her heart out, constantly hitting Shen's dad's shoulder. Why did I marry a man like you? How can I ever face the Wang family now? How can I face my own son? Sis-in-law, stop crying. Although Wang Fu looked awful too.
He managed to stay calm.
Instead, he comforted them, my good-for-nothing son. Actually drugged his old man. Sigh, I knew this day would come. Old Wang, Shen's dad, was in tears. Wang Fu looked at Shen in tears and said, "Don't cry. We're comrades after all." But after calming down, Wang Fu felt something was off. Your brother, Shen Yan, already called the police. Seems like your daughter was taken away by Zhao Zun too. But Zhao Zun doesn't seem like the crazy type. What do you think, old Shen? Is that formula you developed really reliable? It is, Shen firmly replied. Sigh, Wang Fu sighed. If only my idiot son had a tenth of Xiao Chen's guts, I wouldn't worry my whole life. Compared to Shen's dad, Wang Fu could handle crisis better. He looked at Shen hesitantly and murmured, old Shen. Do you think Zhao Zun's just acting out? I just got a call from that brat. Zhao Zun told me give him one day he'd win the money back. He also told me to buy some oil. Said the authorities would come to borrow money from me. Have you heard anything about that? Oil futures. Shen furrowed his brows. In the stock market structure, based on copying the bond market in the US, oil-based futures contracts emerged only in the 90s. What Zhao Zun means is, even if the authorities move to rescue the market, they won't just print money. They might raise funds from oil futures in private hands and quietly siphon off some. Shen stroked his chin. Wang Fu didn't get it. Wouldn't that be a big loss? Just giving it away for nothing? Shen tried to stay calm. Well, for now, only people inside the system can buy treasury bonds, right? My guess is the authorities will swap them for bonds. A lot of bonds. You can leave those bonds for Zhao Yu, or use them as your company's credit guarantee. Both are good options. No way, for real. Hearing Shen's bold prediction, Wang Fu was dazed. He had no idea how things would really play out. But the older, the wiser. As a real estate CEO, there's no way Wang Fu would go bankrupt from a little cash flow problem. He just didn't tell that disappointing son of his, "Oh Shen, I still have 2 million in my account. Originally it was to help you out, but that's still not enough to cover your position. Look, the board's old-timers are definitely going to give me trouble this time. I might as well get some oil futures myself. If the authorities really come to swap for bonds, at least I'll have something to show them." Soon after, using Shen Yuan's private seal, his papers and tax documents, Shen Zun took advantage of a loophole in the financial system and sold bonds to raise 5 million cash. That 5 million was all of Shen Yuan's assets. Even some of it belonged to his partner. He'll go ballistic when he finds out. He'll want to skin Shen Zun alive. Wish he could eat him alive. In the hotel room, Wang Yu stared at the gentle Shen Qian like a fanboy. Swallowed hard. When Shen Zun entered with 2 bags of cash, he snapped out of it, looking at 4 bags of cash on the floor. Wow, Zhao Zun. I've never seen so much money in my life. There must be more than 10 million here. Useless. Shen Zun smacked Wang Yu on the head. He immediately handed a bottle of water to Shen Qian. Thank you. Shen Qian nodded. She stared at Shen Zun's profile. Cousin, did this money come from my dad? Yeah, Shen Zun replied coldly. Don't worry. From today on, I'll make this money grow tenfold. Your dad will be so happy he'll want to jump off a building. Is Zhao Zun really up to this? Netizens still couldn't believe what Shen Zun said. Didn't you say that you already used your boss's account to invest 45 million? How about we just run away? Take this money and travel the world in style. Come back when we've spent it all. Relax, my dad is really capable. He can earn the money back in a few years. Get lost. Shen Zun's tone was a bit harsh.
His gaze was full of seriousness.
He hadn't officially traded for a long time, especially after becoming famous in that battle, snagging hundreds of millions in the US stock market. With a second chance at life, he not only wants to make up for past regrets, but also feels a natural sense of mission. My boss's money. I estimate I can make more than 700 million with it, but most of it has to go to him. At best, I'll stay out of jail. and maybe get 10 or 20 million for myself. That's so shady. Wang Yu said in surprise. Shady my ass. Shen Zun shot him a look. I snuck all of this out myself. Not going to jail is already lucky enough. Still, Wang Yu couldn't figure it out. What is Shen Zun really after? Bro, why are you making such a big deal out of this? Just to grab some money and run off to have fun? That risk is way too high. No shit. Shen Zun muttered to himself. In his past life, Shoros, as a trader who personally experienced this financial storm, Shen Zun would never forget the aftermath. Countless people lost their jobs. The rooftops were packed with people. Every securities brokerage was filled with endless cursing and wailing. Even though the Zhuzhou authorities bailed out the market quickly, Hong Kong stocks, as the only current financial outlet, were key to everything. If not a single yuan flowed into foreign hands, thousands would still lose their jobs or even jump off buildings. Zhao Zan, just tell us what to do. Wang Yu leaned back and stretched out on the bed. He stretched lazily, completely without care. I've already got the people. Set up 7 companies. You can operate as you like. No problem. Shen Zun looked at Shen Xianchen. Sis, I remember you studied financial management, right? Yeah, that's good. Shen Zun rubbed his neck. A fierce glint flashed in his eyes. 8 hours from now, some foreign force will parachute into the Hong Kong government. Our job is to find where their cash flow is going. Buy in at the same time as him. We buy as much as he buys. That'll really make him bleed. No way, we're letting him earn that money back easily. Hearing Shen Zun say that, Wang Yu instantly perked up. Looks like there are some personal grudges involved. As time ticks by, at this moment, countless Beihai residents are watching the Hong Kong stock market. Luna Securities Group Chairman's office. Yang Dong with a big mobile phone in hand, staring at the digital computer, hesitating whether to throw in the remaining 200 million. In Champing Village, Wang Fu and Shen Fu are on the phone, listening for the latest news about Hong Kong stocks in the office of Shen Yuan Real Estate Company. After hearing that Shen Zun invested all that money in Hong Kong stocks, Shen Yuan could only wait helplessly for news, hoping Shen Zun can turn things around and pay him back. And then there's Iwen. He absolutely doesn't believe Shen Zun has any chance of a comeback. But with his professional skills, he's obsessively watching the movement of Hong Kong stocks. Everyone's expectations, hopes, and despair all rest in these remaining 24 hours. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, a man in a suit and tie, admired by a group of financial tycoons, officially transferred 4 billion into his Hong Kong stock account. Friends, let's look forward to the Jurassic of Zhuzhou's financial world and hear its painful howl. Zhao Zun, after Shen Zun taught netizens how to track capital movements. Soon, in front of a makeshift computer, the netizens suddenly shook Shen Zun awake, roared, "It's in." Ming's Shipbuilding Group's stock price went up by 0.2. No 0.3. Still going up. Shen Zun jumped up, under Shen Qian's calm gaze.
He quickly grabbed a water bottle and examined carefully.
Good, this bastard Shoros is making his move. He wants to quietly put billions of dollars into every blue chip stock, then cause the junk stocks to hit lower limits. Limit drop? Wang Yu asked in surprise. If they stop trading, doesn't the market halt? How can anyone make money then? You don't get it. Shen Zun shot him a look. Hong Kong stocks in the 90s were so crazy, getting everyone drunk on trading, because the system used wasn't macro control, but rather a reservoir mechanism. In a reservoir, it's hard to tell which are blue chips and which are junk stocks. When the market is hot, every stock floats up, but eventually the dam will burst. When junk stocks can't rise anymore, the money really in blue chip stocks will keep the market running. Everyone will start buying in. Got it. The netizens' eyes lit up. Good stocks will soar, and even bad stocks will rise when the market rebounds. But actually, only professionals can tell the difference, right? Shen Zun patted Wang Yu's shoulder, rising with the tide. Those 4 words are the hard truth of the stock market. Soon, as Wang continued to monitor, Shen Qian couldn't help but sit by too, staring at the computer screen. Check Sue's Pharma. Check Wang's Steel Group. Don't look at Hong Kong stocks. Check Zhuzhou stocks. see if any big funds were withdrawn. Throughout the process, Shen Qian watched from the side. To be honest, Shen Qian doesn't really get the stock market. But strangely, coming from Shen Zun's mouth, he already recited dozens of names. The companies these names stand for can't be told by the naked eye, whether they're blue chips or junk stocks. But Shen Zun could spot every odd move of funds and record them perfectly. The other side has a good setup. Shen Zun said excitedly, "Hey you, put money in those 7 companies. Spread it out. Qian, you handle the books for these companies. Buy according to our blue chip list, one by one." The netizen asked, "Won't we get found out doing this?" "Found out my ass." Shen Zun knocked him on the back of the head and rolled his eyes. "The others have tens of billions. We only have 10 million something. You think everyone is a calculator? If they can spot that." But at that moment, Wang asked the crucial question, "Your boss is 45 million. Where did you invest it?" "Hey," suddenly, Shen Zun's face showed endless scheming and mischief. He whispered coldly, "You'll see once he gets burned." After Wang left, Shen Qian scrambled to make phone calls and keep the books, looking all flustered. "Can you handle it, Qian?" Shen Zun came over and asked. "Not enough funds." To make it easier, Shen Qian exposed her long legs. They were sitting less than 10 centimeters apart. A whiff of perfume drifted right under Shen Zun's nose. Shen Zun was stunned. He never noticed before, but now he was shocked to see just how beautiful she is. He never noticed in the past. "She's really gorgeous." It's fine. I'm done." Shen Qian handed over a stack of papers. Tearing off paper what? Now it was Shen Zun's turn to be surprised. In Shen Zun's plan to maximize profit, he wanted to invest in 20 stocks and adjust based on real-time changes. It's called the revenue-driven model. But doing these accounts well is hard. How much to put in? Which investment should get more? Which should get less to be more cost-effective? Who takes more risk? Who gets less returns? These ways to calculate in financial theory aren't exactly secrets, but they do require extreme judgment, experience, and money. Shen Zun often talks about computing power, the brain's calculation ability. A genius with great computing power can simulate the whole stock market's changes in a short time. Right now, Shen Zun looked at the 4 Shen Qian handed over, checked them carefully, and suddenly remembered something. "Does your dad not let you interact with others?" Shen Qian nodded. "I remember your dad lost a lot of money in business, right?" "Yeah." Shen Qian looked directly at Shen Zun. "So all your family's money was earned back through your investment?" Hearing that, Shen Qian hesitated a bit, then nodded. Her cheeks flushed. He never expected it. A true genius was right by his side. What does Shen Qian's talent mean? Top-level computing power. Almost supercomputer-level prediction and insight. Once these abilities are used on the stock market, the results will be terrifying. Making a few billion for Shen Zun. Even tens of billions is no big deal. "All right, got it." Shen Zun held back his excitement, kept his cool. "You guys keep tracking Soros's cash flow. I'll contact the boss at Yuanhao Securities Group and get him to pull the net." Right now, Shen Qian couldn't read any emotion from Shen Zun's expression, so she had no idea just how astonishing is his own talent. And in the next moment, Shen Zun used Wang Yu's cell phone to dial Yang Dong's number. Yang Dong answered, clearly conflicted, and sternly asked, "Is this Shen Zun?" "Hello, is it you?" "You kid, speak up. Are you Shen Zun? You should still have money in your account, right?" Shen Zun replied without hesitation. Yang Dong was momentarily speechless. He recalled 40 hours ago. Shen Zun was just a low-level employee. He was Yang Dong's proxy. But now his fate is intertwined with his own. He's even become an economics genius admired by Zhang Kang. "What's your plan?" Yang Dong stammered. "You still want to take my money. In the next half hour, there will be an influx of money into Qin Mining Group. I want you to invest all your funds into it. That way," Shen Zun flashed a devilish smile, "those people will lose out on billions." "What's going on?" Yang Dong was totally confused. "Those people, who are they?" After leaving one last statement, Shen Zun hung up the phone, leaving Yang Dong bewildered. Professor Zhang Kang noticed this. While questioning Yang Dong, he turned pale. "Those people, that's right. Zhang Kang stood up, shocked. So that's how it is. I can't believe I never noticed. Turns out there's another fund in our stock market. He looked at Yang Dong, still puzzled. A sense of awe for Shenzhen surged in Zhang Kang. He grabbed Yang Dong and led him to the computer and said, Mr. Yang, you still haven't figured it out. This drop and resurgence in the Hong Kong stock market are all driven by a foreign fund. It's this foreign capital scooping up our stocks and even destroying the Hong Kong stock market. What? Yang Dong kept looking back and forth. Finally, with Zhang Kang's guidance, he noticed something. And this left him deeply shocked. If Zhang Kang's theory holds true, that also means Shenzhen's every move isn't just for his parents. He's also doing it for Hong Kong stocks. He's protecting the Hong Kong stock market, trying to recover some costs from the enemy, and keep these funds in local hands. Really, each generation produces new talent. Zhang Kang was excited. His face flushed. He waved his hands with joy. With such a young talent, it's the fortune of our Hong Kong city. Mr. Yang, may I ask which district this young Shenzhen is from? I'll find someone right away. No. Make the call now to arrange it. Let him join Hong Kong City's economic department in a top position. Yang Dong was still stunned.
He remained dazed for a moment.
Then remembered that he's not from Hong Kong. He came from the mainland. Seems like he's from Beihai. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, with Shenzhen continuously operating, Shen Qian successfully split over 10 million funds without anyone noticing and spread it across various blue-chip stocks. At the same time, a private group account also injected 200 million into the blue-chip stock named Qin Mining Group. Xiaoshuan, a netizen, peered at the screen confused. You're having your boss invest all the money in this group. Why? Do you know the executives? Shenzhen shook his head. So why then? The netizen asked, surprised. You have to understand, Shenzhen's actions will make Qin Mining Group one of the biggest winners. And this winner isn't even Shenzhen's ally. It's like winning the lottery. But Shenzhen's eyes were filled with calm worry.
He murmured, using this event
To establish a solid blue-chip stock for the mainland will benefit Hong Kong's stock stability even more. What? The netizen couldn't understand the terminology. Shen Qian, beside him, was a bit confused. The mainland stock market is worlds apart from Hong Kong. To put it bluntly, even if the mainland has a lot of capital, it'll never reach Hong Kong's scale of becoming Asia's financial center. Why does Shenzhen care so much about the mainland? Not long after, the netizen pointed at the digital computer, amazed. The stock price has started rising. In the digital computer, the prices of more than 10 stocks holding Shenzhen's funds started to rise steadily, going from $1 or $2 up to $3 or $5. It only took 10 minutes. This means Soros has started bottom fishing. The financial storm has officially begun. Let it rise. Shenzhen's expression didn't change at all. The netizen, usually indifferent about stocks, suddenly started working on the computer, had Shen Qian record all the fund movements. Sis Qian, how much have we made so far? Just doubled. Shen Qian calculated. We haven't fully entered the market yet. Only one stock is rising. Double Wang Yu's jaw dropped. All along, he's always been a rich kid not sensitive to money. But even if you aren't sensitive, you should know how shocking it is to double your money. That is to say, from checking in at the hotel until now, it's been less than 24 hours. Shenzhen's assets have doubled, and the doubling happened in just 10 minutes. Oh my God. The netizen turned pale, shaking all over. He felt he had witnessed a miracle, and that miracle was made by someone on his side. What's that? Just wait, you'll see something even bigger. Shenzhen went up and patted him on the shoulder. Then, he had Shen Qian release 2 blue-chip stocks. Stocks that were around $1, because they were released at low prices, suddenly became 8 yuan. Isn't it depreciating? Netizens astonished questioning, but he signaled him not to rush. Sure enough, in a corner far across the world, inside a room full of greedy people, a young operator is controlling the computer. So surprised that even Mr. Soros was taken aback. One of our blue-chip stocks dropped to 08 yuan. Someone is dumping shares. Behind the operator, a middle-aged man walked past with contempt. Just a fool, that's all. He glanced over, then lost interest in the stock. That fool was backed into a corner. He's forced to cut losses, keep injecting funds, push the stock price back up. Yes, 5 minutes later, something miraculous happened, right under Wang Yu's nose. The price originally at 08 yuan bounced back to around 1 or 2 yuan. Look at the trend. There's even room for more growth. What on earth is happening? Shen Zun's expression looked quite sinister. He patted Shen Qian's shoulder. Qian, do you know what's going on? Shen Qian was silent for a moment. She shook her head and said the market got it wrong. Wrong. A glint of gold appeared in Shen Zun's eyes. The stock market. Ultimately, it's just a battle between people. Because that old bastard Churros is trying to profit from bargain hunting. He'll scoop up as many of these hopeful blue chip stocks as he can. Definitely grabbing as many as possible. Shen Zun explained to them. What's happening? I just sold off. He realized US small investors still hold some shares. So he intentionally pushes the price up to lure us into cutting our losses further. So what should we do now? A netizen heard this. This can't go on. If we keep going, we'll lose even more. We've already lost some. Keep selling, Shen Zun sneered. This time drive the price down to 1 yuan. A few minutes later, back in Soros's room, the young operator noticed another strange phenomenon. This time, he doesn't need to report to Soros, because Soros is watching closely, trying to sell again, seeing the price go up, wanting to make more, huh? Soros snickered mockingly. The people of Zhuzhou really are the most petty and greedy, always putting their interests on small fry like this. Keep pushing, raise it to 16, let him sell. Soros is driving the price up, which means he has to commit more capital. Meanwhile, in front of Shen Zun, Shen Qian, and Wang Yu, as the stock's price surged to 16, Wang Yu looked at the price, ecstatic. No way, that's a big score. Wang Yu became instantly elated. Zun, if we sell the shares now, can we net over 10 million? Netizens are going crazy, just in these ins and outs. They actually made a profit of over 10 million and didn't have to do anything. Just watched the computer and entered a few commands, and the money's in the bag. This is the 1990s. What does 10 million mean? For Wang Yujia, a wealthy person, even a top Mercedes is only about $1 million. 10 million, if spent in mainland China. With each apartment costing 50,000, how many could you buy? However, as the mastermind behind it all, Shen Zun smiled mysteriously, asked Shen Qian. Qian, do you know what to do now? To maximize profit? Shen Qian felt a bit pressured. She calculated on her laptop. Once Weinen's stock price rose to 16, those outside retail investors will hear the news and start cutting losses. So we seized the chance to buy back their shares. Is that it? Shen Qian's answer was perfect. But it's not the only answer. Right, but also wrong. Shen Zun's gaze was like a hungry wolf, fiercely staring at the computer. Follow my lead. Let's operate the remaining stocks, all using this method. Boost their prices all the way up. Shen Qian heard this, didn't understand what Shen Zun was trying to do, while Wang Yu was terribly distressed. That's double the profit. If Shen Zun keeps doing this, wouldn't that be giving away all double profits? Just to boost share prices. Is there any point to this? At this moment in Soros's office, Soros laughed, covering his mouth. The dwarves of Zhuzhou? They're all receiving news together, ready to cut losses together. Let them cut losses. Whatever they dump, we'll scoop up. And let's act out the whole drama. We'll push the price right to 2 yuan, so they don't hesitate anymore. Dump everything. Soros was brimming with confidence. As a financial whiz, he knew all too well. Every financial indicator reflects the mood of investors. The previous sell-off was obvious. It was those investors who still had shares, testing the waters with sell orders. Now he needs to drive the price up right away, so they don't hesitate, and clear out all their shares. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, the young operator kept injecting funds. Ultimately, acquired about 50 million in stock. 50 million meanwhile, next to Shen Zun at the inn. Wang Yu covered his eyes. He couldn't believe what he saw. He hurriedly tugged at Shen Zun. Enough, it's tripled already. Let's cash out. 3 times the profit already. In less than an hour, they made triple the profit. Shen Zun was well aware. At this point, if he unloads the last shares, this round would net 5 million. Then take the money and pay off debts. If he can keep 2 million, spend it all on apartments in mainland China. Within 20 years, he could become a billionaire without taking on any risk. He'd collect substantial rental income every year. But as netizens looked on expectantly, Shen Zun's expression didn't change at all. He coldly ordered Qian, invest all this money in Qin Mining Group. Push their stock price to around 35 yuan. What? Zun, are you crazy? Netizens exclaimed. Earning so much money. And in the end, just to boost Qin Mining Group's share price? Many netizens started to doubt. Is he a mainland mole? And at this moment, as Shen Qian put all assets into Qin Mining Group, Yang Dong was also making moves. A total of 250 million flowed into Qin Mining Group, seemingly out of nowhere. Instantly, Qin Mining Group's price, previously at 0.6 yuan, surged to 48 yuan. Bang, Soros's face darkened.
He slapped the table, furious.
4 batches of funds entered Qin Mining Group. One was from Shenzhen, counting previous contributions. That's a total of 65 million. Another was from Yangdong. This was all his private money, a total of 200 million. There was also Qin Mining Group's own capital for trading. The initial funds for cutting retail investors totaled 500 million. Finally, Soros was preparing to bottom fish. A pre-positioned 200 million. A total of 965 million in capital. Almost 1 billion. During this sluggish stock market, the Qin Mining Group became the only blue chip stock rising crazily. The stock price soared nearly tenfold. Mr. Soros, Qin Group's stock price is still climbing. It's already 58 yuan. It's already 600 million. Sir, Qin Group's stock price has increased tenfold. If we don't harvest now, we're going to lose big time. Mr. Soros. Damn, bang bang. Soros slammed the desk fiercely. Originally, Soros intended to use the iron chain strategy. That is, to put several $billion into various blue chip stocks. By spreading funds across different blue chip stocks, to harvest hundreds of billions in profits from the Hong Kong stock market. This made him invest substantial amounts in every blue chip. But take Qin Mining Group, for example. Total capital was nearly 1 billion. He only provided 200 million. Even if the stock price rose tenfold, the bulk of the profits were in someone else's hands. Not much to do with him. Plus, this triggered a chain reaction. Mr. Soros. Other stocks also began to rise. Things started getting out of control. Mr. Soros. Another stock has jumped to 3. The Hang Seng Index has surpassed 3,500. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of knocking filled the office. At that moment, he realized clearly he was played. And played badly. Qin Mining Group? He silently repeated the name.
His face turned deep purple.
It was hard to imagine that in this world, there was actually someone who understood the market as well as he did. Maybe even better. This guy disguised himself as a retail investor, saw through my loneliness, lured me into the trap. He suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented. He actually messed up here. As someone incredibly smart, he emptied British finances in the 1970s, harvested profits from the 4 Asian tigers throughout the 1980s, created tens of billions in profits. He had never lost to anyone, much less expected that he'd be toyed with in the stock market, and that this kid was just a trader for a corporate group. Since he could understand these mechanisms, it meant he could, like me, harvest a country's stock market.
But why?
He couldn't figure it out. With the operator urging him, he stopped waiting, coldly said, "Start. Oh, and call for me. Ask who's the trader behind Qin Mining Group in Kyushu." The hotel saw continued stock market gains. Only Shenzhen held Qin Mining Group. All 3 showed different expressions. Wang Yu seemed a bit frustrated. After all, he felt, Shenzhen just lost the chance to earn almost 50 million. That was easy money, with almost no risk. Shenzhen was very calm. He was rubbing Shen Qian's head, enthusiastically explaining to Shen Qian what the principles of the stock market are. Shen Qian was quite annoyed. He couldn't figure out this cousin. How he suddenly seemed 10 years older, treating him like a kid everywhere. And the theories from Shenzhen's mouth shocked everyone listening. Virtually overturned all the traditional economics Shen Qian knew. And not long after, as Shenzhen turned on the TV. On the financial channel in Hong Kong, a handsome host appeared sweating in front of the camera, excitedly saying, "Citizens, after 1.5 hours of stock market volatility, the Hang Seng Index has broken through 4,000 points." At the same time, nearly simultaneously, Father Wang Fushu guarded Changping village. Listening to radio updates, the Kyushu government officially announced. Countless citizens gathered at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Hang Seng Index broke through 4,500. Citizens cheered. Hong Kong authorities sent out the fire brigade. Chin Mining Group injected 2 billion into the Kyushu government. Shares were impossible to get. Hang Seng Index kept climbing, about to break through the 6,000 mark. And at this moment, Wang Yu felt as dizzy as the other citizens, nervously watching the TV. He could hear upstairs and downstairs citizens shouting in amazement and sharing the same expectation. Everyone whispered that number, 7,000. Break, break. Wang Yu was totally absorbed. As someone with limited knowledge about stock market investing, he had never actually invested in stocks. But his family's group was also part of the market, and he deeply felt the profits the market brought to individuals. Every shout, every rise, even every 100-point Hang Seng increase meant countless funds flowing into his pockets. Our reporter announces, Hang Seng Index officially surpasses the 7,000 mark. So, as the host's eyes went red with emotion, netizens rushed to the bulletin board, excited nearly to the point of fainting. Shenzhen pushed Wang Yu aside, watching Wang Yu's hysterical, almost unconscious reaction. "Yeah." Calm Shan Qian ordered to keep tracking the capital flow. "I want to know clearly how much he made in Hong Kong stocks, and which groups he took it from." Shan Qian nodded. "Careful, Shenzhen." Behind him, Wang Yu grabbed Shenzhen's hand, excitedly shouting 7,000. "Zhao Zan, do you know how much we've made? It's over 100 million, not just 100 million. It's several billion." According to Shen Qian's estimates, it's tens of billions. Even though Shenzhen, at the last moment, transferred a large amount of funds, all to Chin Mining Group, which had more total assets, he had already known the Zhuzhou authorities would choose to invest in Mainland Group, allocating this money into Chin Mining Group. All the other blue chip stocks were owned by Tangsha, and he simply couldn't compete with such massive funds. So from the very beginning, he never expected to lose much. Just that the money in Chin Mining Group wouldn't yield much profit. Yet this deal turned out to be the most profitable one. How much per share is Chin Mining Group trading at now? Shenzhen noticed cautiously. Shen Qian checked casually. 120 yuan. We can cash out now. Shenzhen's expression isn't the same as before. In fact, he looks even paler. Next to him, netizen was stunned Shenzhen was ignoring him.
He quickly asked Qianji,
"How much did we make in the end?" Shenzhen finally responded to him, saying about 4 billion. 4 billion. Wang Yu's eyes widened. His mind was lightning and thunder. He seemed totally crazed. "My dad couldn't make 4 billion in 10 lifetimes. Zhao Zan, we're rich. 4 billion. I couldn't spend that in a lifetime. That's enough." Came a low, angry roar. Shenzhen suddenly cracked open a bottle of mineral water and splashed it all over Wang Yu's face. "Zhao Zan, what's wrong with you?" Wang Yu ended up with water all over his nose, choking and sputtering, but managing to calm down to ask again. At this moment, Shenzhen took out a notebook, doing some calculations. "Qianji, how much did we make this time?" "He already sold everything," Shen Qian replied helplessly. The total was 23.4 billion. Wang Yu sucked in a sharp breath. That guy is a monster. He actually made 23 billion. How much initial capital did he have then? Fortunately, Shenzhen let out a sigh of relief, but still kept his brow furrowed. More than 20 billion is nothing to him. But the manufacturing industry in Harbor City has probably been destroyed. As he said this, Shenxing checked the current status of the top 10 manufacturing groups in Harbor City and found out they had all gone bankrupt. Wang Yu took a sharp breath again. "Zhao Zan, what about my dad's real estate group? Did they go bankrupt too?" After Wang Yu finished speaking, Shenzhen, with a grim face, controlled his digital laptop and nodded. "Bankrupt. But I'll make sure your family gets enough money for you to start another one. Or 10, seriously. Only now did Wang Yu gradually realize it wasn't just his family's business. Shen Jian's father's real estate company also went bankrupt in an instant. And they were actually lucky. Being in the core of their industry, it didn't have the biggest impact. Those in the livestock, construction, and manufacturing sectors. And in groups dealing with upstream production, they're the really unlucky ones. My second uncle's shipyard went bankrupt too. And my cousin-in-law's clothing company, Zhao Zhuan. Even those in retail clothing suffered? I thought this was only related to real estate. Wang Yu kept checking on his computer. And the more he looked, the paler he became. Like a man possessed, Wang Yu checked on every group, connected to his relatives and friends. And he found a shocking answer. Something's not right here. Wang Yu spread his hands and said blankly, even my ex-girlfriend's family went bankrupt. They weren't even publicly listed yet. This doesn't add up. What doesn't add up? Shen Zeng calmly walked over, turned off the laptop, and looked Wang Yu in the eye. His presence now had the air of an elite leader, emanating a highly professional charisma. It was like he was an expert on every stock in Hong Kong. I told you, besides blue chips in Hong Kong, the rest are garbage. Not only the listed ones are garbage. Remember that shell company I told you to set up? After Shen Zeng finished speaking, Wang Yu's eyes lit up immediately, and he suddenly realized, yeah, in this era where everyone wants to speculate, just to make huge profits, there are countless ways to package unlisted companies as publicly traded junk stocks. We only made a profit of a little over 20 billion, but behind that 20 billion could be losses of hundreds of billions of wealth. These losses come from every corner of society, affecting everyone. After this incident, the Hong Kong stock market will suffer a heavy blow. Shen Zeng's tone was serious, and he spoke gravely. Groups like yours that can recover can still form a temporary monopoly for now. But that also means you'll shoulder even more responsibility, helping others in the industry make a comeback, somewhere in a dark corner in the distance. Unlike the bewildered Wang Yu, at this moment, under the support of several operators, someone with reddened eyes stared at the laptop. Good, we just made 20.2 billion this time. With only one day, we made several $billion, and it was nearly risk-free. The operators popped open champagne, whistling, even more excited than on Christmas Day, yet surrounded by this noise. He suddenly slammed the table and cursed out loud hysterically. Only 20 billion. I lost nearly 40 billion. Damn those Zhuzhou people. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the office turned cold. The operators looked at each other, having no idea why he was so angry. They quickly asked if they'd found out who was the mastermind behind Qin Mining Group. One operator nervously handed over a document. The group was run by someone named Wang Wo, a graduate of Cambridge Economics. But he'd only ever handled funds in the tens of millions. Wang Wu immediately opened the file and glared fiercely at the photo inside, gritting his teeth. Okay, all right then. The Zhuzhou financial experts felt humiliated because they couldn't believe someone who graduated from Cambridge Economics, just an ordinary Zhuzhou student, could cause him such a huge loss. Other PhDs and academic fellows all looked up to him as a true financial guru. Their earlier battle in Hong Kong stocks fully proved that his opponent was one of the brightest minds in the world. Yet, it turned out to be just an ordinary student who had never handled more than 10 million at once, never even managed assets over $1 billion. Contact the Federal Financial Department immediately and recruit this person. Fuming with anger, he muttered, I want to see how he broke through my setup in Hong Kong. But Wang Wu had no idea that a legendary figure in the financial world had already set his sights on him, about to bring upon him a disaster so severe he'd remember it in his next life. A peaceful night in the restless Changping village. Old Shen wants something else to drink? I'll have my assistant send it over right away. Tonight we party until we drop. At the rundown edge of the village, Shen Fu and Wang Fu are hosting a banquet, inviting over 100 villagers to gather together, cheering with their wine glasses, shouting that no one goes home sober, while at the same time sobbing uncontrollably like madmen. The villagers watching this scene All think that these two might be a bit crazy. But who could have known? In just these 12 hours today, the two have experienced major ups and downs. As for Shen Fu's family, no need to say more. He was about to jump off the building, but was persuaded down from the rooftop by his son, and witnessed his own economic theory, sweeping up junk stocks in the Hong Kong stock market, turning the Shen family into billionaires. Wang Fu first went bankrupt, but he knew his son had lent over 10 million to Shenzhen. The money he can get this time, no matter what, won't be less than 1 billion. Shooting right to the top. Old Shen, I told you your son was destined for greatness. Unlike my son, who's just a total good-for-nothing. Wang Fu, already dead drunk, doesn't seem worried at all that Shen Zun would run off with the money. Because even in the previous life, after Shen Fu passed away, Wang Fu still took care of Shen Zun without hesitation. He always believed Shen Zun was no ordinary young man, and would surely achieve something great. Don't say that. My son also benefited from your Wang family's blessing. Shen Fu said guiltily. No matter what, he still put Shen Zun in danger. If his theory turned out to be wrong this time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Not just death. Just Yang Dong alone could easily make the Shen family regret being in this world. It's even possible they'd end up crippled by someone. At this very moment, he still feels a bit shaken. Meanwhile, Shen Mu hurried over from nearby, holding Wang Fu's brick phone, excited and worried as he handed it to old Wang. Your son is calling. Can you ask Zhao Zun where he is now for me? That little brat. When Wang Fu heard this, his eyes lit up, and he quickly grabbed the phone. However, just as he was about to scold Wang Yu for the sleeping pills incident and give him a good lecture, he suddenly heard Wang Yu's cry for help over the phone. Dad, something's wrong. Zhao Zan was taken away by Yang Dong. What? Wang Fu jumped to his feet, exclaiming in disbelief. All the money you guys made was stolen by that bastard Yang Dong. No, on the phone, Wang Yu sounded like he'd just been beaten up, panting heavily. We made 4 billion. Dad, Zhao Zan gave me a bank card. It has 1.5 billion in it. He said it's a reward for our family, and told you to take 1 billion to the mainland to invest in real estate. Forget all that. Dad, hurry and get someone to save Zhao Zun. I'm afraid that bastard Yang Dong will kill him. With that, Wang Yu hung up the phone. Wang Fu immediately cursed that little punk, came back to his senses, and saw Shen's father and mother looking pale. Neither of them could really handle shock. In this era, the brick phone's sound insulation isn't that great, so they probably heard most of what Wang Yu was saying. Shen's mother, who was overly agitated, was shakily begging Shen's father to please make sure to help. And then, clutching her chest, she collapsed to the ground with a thud. Meanwhile, Wang Fu's brick phone started ringing again. Wife! Shen's father anxiously hugged his wife. Wang Fu cursed angrily. Who the hell is it this time? He just picked up the call and heard a cold voice on the other end. Hello, Mr. Wang. I'm Long Shi, team leader of the Juzhou Financial Monitoring Center. May I ask if you can reach Shenzhen Financial Monitoring Center? Wang Fu's face turned instantly pale. As a successful entrepreneur, Wang Fu definitely knew the background of this organization. After all, it's 1998 now, not 1997. What people used to call the Financial Monitoring Center was basically set up to regulate the Hong Kong stock market. Everyone knows that after 97, Hong Kong stocks have been regulated by Juzhou. And to prevent chaos in the market, Juzhou basically only targeted dirty money and the unclean assets of criminals, rarely making overall plans.
Now,
A national-level agency is suddenly reaching out to him. If Wang Fu weren't nervous, it would be impossible. He nervously swallowed hard, steadied himself, and slowly replied. Hello, Team Leader Long. I just got a call from my son too. Zhao Zan. He was taken away by Mr. Yang from Wuon House Securities Group. Can you help find him? Beep before Wang Fu could finish. The other side had already hung up, leaving only the bustling banquet, with Wang Fu and Shen Fu, both wearing looks of deathly silence, hurriedly calling an assistant to take Shen's mother to the hospital. Kowloon City, Hong Kong. In the darkness, Shen Zun's eyes were covered. He could hear the sound of car horns surrounding him. After the horns faded, The car arrived at a relatively quiet place. He was holding a small hand in his own. Shen Zun knew. It was his cousin Shen Qian's hand. At that moment, Shen Qian was also nervous. She quietly asked her cousin, when suddenly a bodyguard shouted, "Shut up! Watch it, or I'll kill you." Shen Zun gasped in shock. A few hours before, just after he split the money with Wang Yu, he was taken from the motel by a group of people. Originally, Shen Qian could have escaped, but unexpectedly, the young woman, in order to save him, actually revealed that she was Shen Zun's cousin. So the two were captured together, taken away not long ago. The vehicle starts up. By listening closely to the sounds, Shen Zun determines they must have come from Liwan district, where the inn is located, to the sparsely populated wealthy area of Kowloon. So it's obvious. The one who kidnapped him was Yang Dong. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, the car stopped in front of a luxurious villa. The bodyguards in the car dragged Shen Zun and Shen Qian out and shoved the two of them into a villa. When the bodyguard removed Shen Zun's blindfold, he realized he was now in a lavish and elegant living room. Sitting on the sofa, looking a bit excited, was Yang Dong, who kept rubbing his hands. And there was also a wealthy businessman in an expensive suit. The moment he saw this man, Shen Zun felt a chill in his heart. In his previous life, he often saw this guy on TV.
He owned the largest villa compound in Harbor City.
He was a pioneer in Harbor City's real estate market. His name was Huang Heitao. There were a few other people. I'm his subordinate, Board Director Huang, the richest man from Liwan District, and Board Director Hu from Wan Chai Wharf, who does overseas trade. Why are you all being so rough? Next to Yang Dong sat Professor Zhang Tong. He gazed at Shen Zun with a look of admiration. Then Yang Dong stepped up to Shen Zun. Come, have a seat, don't be scared. We absolutely won't hurt you. Shen Zun glanced at Shen Qian.
He saw Shen Qian looking shocked after recognizing these three.
A bit pale with fear, he and Shen Zun were both smart people. From the moment they saw those three, they realized the 2 billion in Yang Dong's account was definitely connected to these three bosses. To put it bluntly, these three bosses were Yang Dong's business partners. At this point, their kidnapping of Shen Zun was just to get a share of the money. Young man, you're very handsome. Really, your looks reflect your character. So talented and promising. When Shen Zun took Shen Qian's hand and sat down, the aging Huang Heitao immediately approached, trying to get close to Shen Zun. He even reached out and asked, "May I ask, is this lady my cousin?" Shen Zun immediately replied, "Please help us arrange accommodation." So that's how it is. Huang Haitao smiled politely, with everyone looking around. Yang Dong couldn't help but walk over to Shen Zun, squeezing in next to Shen Zun, and patting his shoulder. "Zun, you're really something. I knew the Wang family wouldn't recommend a loser to me. You're just like your father, both excellent traders. So, how much did you make this time?" Noticing the eager look on Yang Dong's face, Shen Zun instantly realized this guy was probing him. Since Huang Haitao could find him, there's no way they don't know how much he made. Most likely the moment 40 billion was transferred into his account, they had already locked in on his location. 10 billion, but 15 billion of that was paid back to a friend. Shen Zun answered honestly. At this moment, Director Huang from Liwan District cursed. The Wang family took all the benefits. Listen, kid, you're really not loyal. If I had known there was such an easy way to make money, you should have come to us earlier. It's not like we're short on cash. Giving you a couple dozen million would have been no big deal. Shen Zun gave an awkward laugh. He knew the people sitting in front of him were all well-dressed beasts with a human face, complaining about losses on the surface, but actually wishing to make a huge profit without spending a dime, getting rich to the max. Many of the junk stocks in Hong Kong were created just to satisfy their speculation. This time, after Soros took 24 billion from the Hong Kong market, they bear a lot of the responsibility. I won't say anymore. Yang Dong swallowed anxiously. Zun, you took 10 million from my personal account. We have our own rules. Let's not count the Wang family's money. Hand over the rest to us. After that, your work and personal life, even marriage. We'll take care of it all for you. Any requests, just let us know. Anything can be negotiated. Just as Yang Dong finished speaking, Shen Zun couldn't help but curse. Thinking to himself, Yang Dong really is greedy as hell. A total of 40 billion. 15 billion went to Wang Yu. So there's 25 billion left. So these guys want to pocket all 25 billion themselves, right? Right in front of Huang Haitao. Shen Qian also realized something was off and leaned closer to Shen Zun. Shen Zun gave a casual smile, nodded, and took a bank card out of his pocket. Generously, he said, Mr. Yang, don't worry. I've been prepared for this. These 5 billion are rightfully yours. Without your funding, I could never have made so much money. As soon as Shen Zun finished speaking, Huang Haitao, who was present, Director Huang and Director Hu's faces instantly turned pale. Even Yang Dong looked embarrassed. Clearly, he didn't really care about getting more from Shen Zun. After all, he put in 2 billion himself and already made a fortune. The problem is, bang. Director Hu was always hot-tempered, slammed his palm on the table, pointed at Shen Zun and scolded, You punk. Are you giving this to a beggar or what? 5 billion, do you know how much we've lost because of you? Do you have any idea how much we lost? 5 billion wouldn't be enough for me to pick my teeth. Because of your moves, our assets have shrunk a ton. Do you even realize that? Shen Qian shrank closer to Shen Zun after being yelled at, nervously looking at her cousin next to her, but saw he only gave her a faint reassuring smile, as if he knew perfectly well what kind of people these were. Shen Qian had already heard stories. Let me put it this way. Even if Shen Qian's father was here, he still wouldn't qualify to sit at the same table with these big shots. The power these 3 people wield is enough to impact the entire Juzhou economy. Can Shen Zun really handle this? Worried, a warm and broad hand gently rested on Shen Qian's delicate hand. Shen Qian looked at the man next to her, wondering, is this really the cousin I once knew?
His hand is so soft.
Shen Zun secretly squeezed his cousin's little hand, enjoying the moment, and then said seriously, if it weren't for us, maybe the 3 of you would be bankrupt by now. Honestly, you guys should probably be thanking us. You punk, what nonsense are you spouting? Nonsense. He slammed his palm on the table. A wine glass toppled and shattered on the floor. The crisp and piercing sound echoed for a second, and the atmosphere in the room dropped to freezing. I have no reason to lie to you. Shen Zun shrugged. If you don't believe me, you can ask Professor Jiang Kang over there. You should trust what he says, right? As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the room turned their eyes to Professor Jiang Kang. Boss Hu, please calm down. What this young man said is completely true. Professor Jiang Kang excitedly rubbed his hands. His eyes seemed to be full of stars. If it weren't for this young man's help, the whole Juzhou region might have suffered an even bigger disaster. Young man, if you don't mind my age, I'd like to take you as my student. As soon as he finished saying that, everyone was frozen in shock. Who is Professor Jiang Kang anyway? A titan in Juzhou's financial world, an authority in the eyes of so many. But today he wants to take a kid in his early 20s who barely knows anything as his master. How can that not be shocking? Ahem. Huang Haitao gave a couple of dry coughs. He looked a bit embarrassed. Professor Jiang Kang, we invited young Mr. Shen Jun here today to discuss official business. As for the apprenticeship, let's talk about that later. It seemed Professor Jiang Kang realized he'd lost his composure. He adjusted his expression and sat back down. But he kept his eyes on Shen Jun, not hiding the excitement in his gaze at all. Actually, the reason we invited you here this time wasn't to ask you for money. Huang Haitao squinted as he spoke. 2.5 billion is a lot, but to us, it's not that important. Mr. Wang, if you have something to say, just say it. Shen Sun spoke calmly and confidently. This old fox was calling me by my nickname just now, but is now calling me young man. You're straightforward too, young man, so I won't beat around the bush. Huang Haitao picked up the giant cell phone on the table and dialed his secretary. Bring the stuff over. After just a moment, a long-legged secretary in black stockings and red-soled heels, with a hot and sexy figure, entered the room. She was holding a stack of documents in her hands. The secretary bent down and placed the documents in front of the interrogation table. As she bent down, Shen Jun glanced over and took in every detail at a glance. Black lace trim. The secretary seemed to notice Shen Zun's gaze. and flirted with a playful wink at him. Shenzhen was about to thank her when a sharp pain shot through his right hand. He saw Shen Qian next to him pouting, looking quite upset. Shenzhen could only pick up the documents in front of him to hide his embarrassment. Young man, what do you see? Huang Hatao squinted, looking at Shenzhen with a half smile. They're all worthless internet companies. Shenzhen frowned, seeming to guess something. Right now they're worthless, but that might change soon. Wang Hatao took a sip of red wine. Mr. Wang wants to drive up the stock prices of these companies and sell for a good price. Shenzhen said, Old Huang, old who? You see that? It's so much easier dealing with smart people. Huang Hatao burst out laughing. That's right. These companies are all under our control. And after you shake up the market, there'll be a massive washout. Now is the best time to inflate the stock prices. It's true. The market's volatile right now, and investors are on edge. If a few strong stocks rise against the trend, they'll defy the market and surely draw everyone's attention. At that time, who knows how high these companies' stocks could go? No one can tell. Now is the best time for these speculators. Gotta admit, these guys really have a sharp nose for opportunity. So, are you willing to join us? Huang Hatao smiled kindly. As long as you're willing, I guarantee you'll have a life of luxury, and I'll let go of that 2.5 billion. Shen Xin nodded slightly, but didn't answer. If these guys really pull it off, 2.5 billion would be nothing. By then, the entire Zhuzhou economy might be in their hands. These guys are truly ruthless. Pump up the market value and dump it at the peak. He'd make a killing, but the whole stock market would be a mess. But if he doesn't agree to them, he and Shen Qian might not live to see tomorrow. All right, I agree to run the trades for you, but I need enough capital, and my conditions you must meet. After weighing his options, Shenzhen made his decision. So straightforward. Deal then. Huang Haichao was absolutely delighted. Come on, young man. Let me toast you first. With that, Huang Haichao downed his red wine in one go. At the same time, directors Huang and Hu and Yang Dong all finished their wine as well. Shen Qian looked at Shenzhen with concern, but he gave her a reassuring look. Shenzhen also drank his wine down. Huang Haitao clapped his hands, and plate after plate of delicious food was brought to the table. The room that was so tense just now suddenly filled with laughter and joy. After dinner, Huang Haitao put his arm around Shenzhen's shoulder and drunkenly asked, Little brother Shen, how many days will you need to push these companies' stock prices up to $10 a share? I heard your dad and the others are out looking for you. He made it very clear. Only when you meet his conditions can you leave. Shenzhen twitched his feet. This old guy actually dared to threaten me. Just you wait, give me 3 days. Guaranteed not easy, but I'll do it. Shenzhen patted his chest and acted drunk as well. All right, truly a young hero. Huang Hatao was over the moon. He called for the butler. Butler Liu, take this young man and the girl to the prepared bedroom. No matter what he asks for, make sure to comply. Yes, sir. Butler Liu lowered his head and asked Shenzhen, Do you need someone to carry the young lady back to her room? Shen Qian couldn't hold her liquor and passed out drunk after just 2 glasses of wine. She directly collapsed on the table. Never mind, I'll do it. Shenzhen put his cousin's arms around his neck and carried her in front of him. He didn't expect her to be so light. He followed Butler Liu to the room and glanced around. The room was very spacious. The decor was lavish, and the furniture had everything you could need. There was even a bathroom inside. This was basically a luxury suite. After Butler Liu left the suite, Shenzhen placed Shen Qian on the spacious and soft bed. Because the red wine was stronger than expected, Shen Qian's usually fair neck was flushed bright red. Her clothes were also disheveled, and her perky curves made it hard for Shenzhen to look away. Shenzhen swallowed nervously.
He wasn't exactly a saint either.
Having such a stunning beauty drunk and passed out on the bed, there's no way he wouldn't feel tempted. But taking advantage of someone, that's just not something he could do, especially since she was his cousin, suppressing his jealousy and hormones. Shenzhen helped her take off her shoes and coat, covered her with the blanket, checked the time. It was 10 o'clock and the moon outside was full. He couldn't help but reflect on everything he'd done since being reborn. He wondered how his parents were doing. If they were worried and couldn't sleep, he sighed, and decided he should just go to bed early tonight. Tomorrow he still had to deal with those 3 old foxes.
He took a shower.
And suddenly remembered that neither he nor Shen Qian had clothes to change into. He wrapped a towel around Shen Qian, walked out of the bathroom, and prepared to call butler Liu. But as soon as he stepped out, 2 gazes crossed paths. In his shock, Shen Zun didn't even notice that the towel around him had fallen to the floor. Shen Qian quickly covered her eyes and screamed, but she was still peeking through her fingers. Only then did Shen Zun realize, and hurriedly picked up the towel to cover himself. You're awake? Shen Zun was inwardly freaking out. How could something this awkward happen? Yeah, I'm really thirsty, so I got up to look for some water. Are you still dizzy? Shen Zun sounded worried. I slept a bit, and now I don't feel as dizzy. That's good then. Mr. Shen, Miss Shen, may I ask what's happening inside? Shen Zun sneered inwardly. Those 3 old geezers actually sent someone to keep an eye on him. What? Could you please help us find a set of suitable men's clothes and a set of women's clothes? Make sure they're new. Shen Zun spoke to the person outside the door. All right. Is there anything else you need? Not for now. Shen Zun and his companions. Shen Zun made a shushing gesture, hinting that there might be eavesdroppers nearby. Don't make a sound. Then Shen Zun went into the bathroom, turned the bathroom light on and off, repeating it a few times. Frowning, Shen Zun poured a glass of water and splashed it onto the bathroom light, with the water hitting the fixture. The bulb flickered twice and stopped working. Shen Qian was about to ask, but he stopped her again. Shen Zun crouched down and reached under the sink. After just a moment, a black cube-shaped, micro-spy device flashing with red light appeared in his hand. Shen Qian was left dumbfounded. Then Shen Zun went behind the bedroom TV, drawer of the lamp, under the chair, and found a total of 4 bugging devices. These old men, ruthless as ever, were definitely watching his every move. He turned off each device one by one, and only then did Shen Qian speak, still shaken. Shen Zun, how did you know those places had listening devices? Now, Shen Qian really admired Shen Zun. From his daring extravagance for fortunes, to his composure facing the 3 bosses, every trait made him incredibly fascinating. Now, acting like a detective, uncovering all those spying devices, made Shen Qian even more mystified by her cousin. Learned it from TV? Didn't expect it to be real. Shen Zun made up an excuse. He couldn't very well tell her that his last life saw him grab a huge share of the US stock market and got him monitored by the FBI in real time. Shen Zun, I feel like I can't see through you anymore. Sister Qian, relax. I'm still me. Some things happened, and I had no choice but to change. I'm a bit worried about you. Shen Qian shook her head. None of these people are good news. I'm afraid you'll end up ruined by them. Shen Zun's heart paused, and he was a little dazed. How long had it been since someone cared about him? In his previous life, even though he reached the pinnacle, he had no one around who cared for him. A lot of people were nice to him, just because they eyed his money. But this time, his parents were alive, his brother was with him, his cousin cared about him this much, which left him feeling almost lost. I know, but don't worry. Right now, they're not bold enough to do anything to me. Shen Zun said, I just feel a little guilty toward you. It's my own affair. I shouldn't have dragged you, a girl, into it. So what? You're my little brother. If someone bullies you, how could I just stand by? Remember when you were chased by a dog as a kid? I grabbed a rock and scared that dog away, right? Shen Qian shook her tiny fist, angrily declaring, it's the same now. Anyone who messes with you, I'll fight them. Shen Zun couldn't help but laugh. He didn't expect her to remember things from so long ago. This girl, Shen Zun, reached out and patted her beautiful hair. A man's problems should be solved by men themselves. I'll do my best to get you out safely. I'm your older cousin, you know? Shen Qian was a little dissatisfied. Be good and listen. Shen Zun domineeringly patted her head. Still, you're a woman. Men should protect women. It's only right. For some reason, Shen Qian didn't talk back, nor did she show any displeasure. She let his palm caress her head, quiet as a kitten. An ambiguous atmosphere instantly filled the room. Mr. Shen, the clothes you requested are ready. I've left them outside your door. Butler Liu's voice broke the intimacy between the two. Shen Qian shyly looked away, her hair falling down, hiding her slightly flushed cheeks. Butler Liu prepared 3 sets of clean new clothes for them. The tags were still attached. Shen Zun smacked his lips. Wow, these clothes are all high-end. Just the jacket alone costs over 1,000 each. But there's no way he'd let this little favor make him give up his plan against the 3 bosses. Shen Qian had no concept of clothing brands, so she just checked if the fit was right. I'll go shower first. Since Shen Zun sold her, Shen Qian hadn't bathed once. For someone who loves cleanliness, it was unbearable. But with just the 2 of them sharing a bathroom, and the bathroom right beside the bed, with see-through glass walls, it was hard not to overthink. Shen Qian finished showering and changed into the new clothes Butler Liu had prepared. It was a light green pleated dress. Shen Qian, already with an innocent look, looked even sweeter and fresher after she put it on. For a moment, Shen Zun was actually stunned. Why didn't I notice before that Shen Qian is this beautiful? Is the outfit a bit inappropriate? Shen Qian looked a bit shy. Do I look a little childish? I think it suits you really well. It looks great, Shen Zun said sincerely. At least you know what's good for you. Shen Qian let out a soft snort, but she couldn't hide the smile on her face. Shen Qian sat beside Shen Zun, her fingers twirling her half-dry hair. Do you think there's really a way for us to get out of here? Of course we can, Shen Zun said with absolute confidence. Even if I can't leave, I'll find a way to get you out.
Hearing this,
Shen Qian became anxious. That won't do. If you can't leave, then I'll stay here with you. Realizing her words sounded odd, she quickly added, I'm your older sister. If I left you here alone, how could I explain that to your parents? Shen Zun couldn't help but laugh silently. A wave of warmth flowed through his heart. I have a plan, but it's risky. Qianji, I might need your help. Don't even say help or not help. Right now, we're all in the same boat. Your problem is my problem. Shen Zun was silent for a moment, then said seriously, at the very least, we need to find a way to contact the outside world. How do we do that? I've been paying attention. This villa should be registered under someone's name, a property, and none of the places we've stayed in here have cameras. Which means one thing. That shows this villa used to be lived in. Shen Qian nodded and said. Shen Zun was a bit surprised.
He didn't expect Shen Qian to be this smart.
She figured it out right away. Exactly. Since someone used to live here, then there's a good chance a pager is still around. Or maybe a computer. You want to find those things, and then call the police? Shen Qian covered her mouth and whispered. But we don't even know where this place is. Besides, the inspector could have been bribed. Right? Shen Zun guessed what Shen Qian was thinking. Relax, I'm not that stupid. So you're calling me stupid? Shen Qian pouted. No, absolutely not. Shen Zun let out 2 awkward laughs. There's no way we're actually calling the police. But I have other uses for those things. But didn't you say they're watching us all the time? That means people are probably guarding us outside too, right? Most likely, there are no more than 5 people watching us. Shen Shen held up 3 fingers. How do you figure? Shen Qian asked. 3 reasons. If you look around, this house is surrounded by woods. That means this is definitely the outskirts. If they put the villa way out here, then they definitely don't want to be disturbed. What's more, the 2 of us are no threat at all. So there's no need for many guards? Shen Qian nodded unconsciously. Second, since they captured us and brought us here right away, then it's possible this very villa is where they conduct illegal business. Third, if it's really as I suspect, then the fewer people who know about this place, the better. Makes sense. Shen Qian asked. What about the last point?
take a look at this.
Shen Zun from who knows where pulled out a wrinkled little note and handed it to Shen Qian. 3 a.m. Try to sneak into the study. I left what you need there. There are no more than 5 guards watching you. Inside the house, probably no more than 3. Not sure about their exact locations. Be extremely careful. Seeing this note, Shen Qian was totally thrown off. Who left this for you? Yang Dong secretly slipped it to me. So you knew the whole time? Why didn't you say so earlier? Shen Qian felt like she'd just been played. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. Shen Zun looked a bit embarrassed. He took back the note, tore it up, and flushed it down the toilet. Can he really be trusted? Shen Qian was a bit worried. Are we just jumping from one trap into another? He actually dared to keep this from the three big bosses. And still slipped me the note, so it should be trustworthy. But he's also the one who dragged you into this mess. If he still wants to make more money, he wouldn't lie to me. Shen Qian suddenly thought of something. No wonder you messaged him back then, telling him to invest all the money. So you were planning ahead. He's not stupid. He knows if I work for the three bosses, he won't get a single cent. Shen Zun said, but if he helps me, then I'll owe him a favor. He'll definitely get rewarded in the future. Every single investment I make must have a return. That's what makes a qualified trader. Should possess. Shen Qian was stunned. She didn't expect this cousin of hers to actually be this shrewd. He looks like he's in his 20s, but is as calculating as those old foxes. The things he says, and the things he does, do not seem like something someone just over 20 could do. But even if Mr. Yang really is helping us, what about the guards? Relax, I have my ways. Shen Zun gave a mysterious smile. So we have two goals tonight. First, to find a way to communicate with the outside. Second, to find what Yang Dong left for us. What did he leave for us? No idea, but if it's a pager, that'd be perfect. Shen Zun shrugged. It's getting late. Let's rest for now. I'll wake you up later. Shen Zun stood up, but was grabbed by Shen Qian. Where are you going? Shen Zun was surprised. He replied, I'm going to sleep on the sofa. The bed is fine. It's a big bed. But what? We used to sleep together all the time as kids. Did you forget? Shen Qian wouldn't take no for an answer, and forcefully pulled Shen Zun back onto the bed, showing a rare domineering side. You're sleeping here tonight. The sofa will get you cold. Geez, you're a grown man, and even more fussy than a girl. Shen Qian, as if annoyed, pulled the blanket over her head and buried herself under the covers, leaving just one last warning, sleep or don't. Shen Zun was left totally baffled. Since she put it that way, it wouldn't make sense for Shen Zun to keep arguing. Take off your clothes. Shen Zun carefully slipped under the covers, lying on the soft big bed. It seemed like all the exhaustion from this period was completely washed away without realizing it. Shen Zun actually fell asleep right away. What he didn't know was Shen Qian was less than half a meter away from him. Her face was flushed and her heart was racing. She wasn't sleepy at all anymore. Ever since Shen Zun went to bed, after quite a while, there still wasn't any sound at all. Shen Qian was a little curious. She was just about to say something, but then heard snoring right next to her. Shen Qian's face turned bright red. She really wanted to punch this guy. Idiot, idiot. Big dummy, Shen Zun. Wake up in your dreams. Shen Zun vaguely heard a sweet voice, calling out his name. Rubbing his drowsy eyes, Shen Zun looked like he still hadn't slept enough. What time is it now? Shen Zun felt like he had just closed his eyes and was already being woken up. He didn't feel like he slept at all. The room was pitch dark, and the forest outside was surprisingly quiet. This was the hour when everything should be resting. 10 minutes to 3, Shen Qian said with a hint of helplessness. We should still have enough time, right? Shen Zun suddenly slapped the back of his head. That's when he realized he almost messed things up. Sorry, Qian, I nearly overslept. You've been too tired lately, haven't you? Shen Qian shook her head. After all this is over, you really need to get some proper rest. Can't really blame him for being lazy. After going through so much, Shen Zun had been on edge the whole time. Finally getting a few hours of rest really wasn't enough to fully recover. Let's hurry and find what we need, then get a good night's sleep. After getting ready a bit, the two stood at the doorway looking at each other. Ready to go? Shen Zun nodded confidently. Let's go, just follow me. If the three bosses find us, just run straight away. I'll hold them off. Shen Qian was just about to argue, but Shen Zun seemed to know what she was going to say, cutting her off. This isn't the time to argue. Helpless, Shen Qian nodded. All right, let's move. Yeah, Shen Zun quietly opened the door, leaving a small crack. Everything was dark down the hall. It was quiet, no footsteps at all. Shenzhen finally relaxed a bit, bravely opened the door fully, and left the room. Thankfully, there was no one guarding the room door. I guess the three bosses didn't want to make us too suspicious. They were on the second floor, according to Shenzhen's earlier observations. The study was right next to the dining room, so it was on the first floor. This villa had to be at least 500 square meters. It was huge, not your average size, so they had to be extremely careful. If their plan failed, the three bosses might just turn hostile, or even do something worse. Waiting around to die wasn't Shenzhen's style. As long as there's a chance, he had to take it. Slow down, the lights are on ahead. Seems like someone's there, Shenzhen whispered. Around the corner was the staircase. If they wanted to get downstairs, they had to pass through here. Looking carefully, a man in black, tall, muscular, and standing guard on the stairs. Another guy was smoking by the window. What do we do? I don't think we can beat him. Who said we're going to fight him? Shenzhen said, Kian. This is your time to shine. What do you want me to do? I just threw something and clogged up the toilet. Ask him to help unclog it. Buy me some time. I promise I'll be back before it's finished. Isn't that too risky? Trust me, Shen Qian nodded. May as well go all out. Shen Qian strutted right out. Sure enough, the big guy heard her and immediately paid attention. Hey, mister, can I trouble you with something? Shen Qian said coyly. Our bathroom seems to be clogged. Could you please take a look for us? It's late at night, and we really don't know what to do. Okay, pretty lady. I'll go get some tools. Hiding on the side, Shenzhen found it funny. Looks tough to deal with. But this guy really is a total hunk. Sure enough, the big guy totally believed Shen Qian. He hurried over to look for tools. Try your best to stall him. Buy me some extra time. While the big guy was busy grabbing tools, Shenzhen quietly snuck downstairs. Once downstairs, it was the living room. All brightly lit. He saw a guy just like the last one, wearing the same outfit, sitting on the sofa, head down, apparently looking at something. Listening closely, he could even hear the guy muttering to himself. That guard had his back to Shenzhen. Shenzhen knew he couldn't pause, so he bravely kept going down. When he reached the last step, Shenzhen finally heard what the man was mumbling. Prime Minister, if you die, how will Shu survive? Prime Minister, don't die. This man was actually quietly crying, holding a novel in his hands. Wow, this guy was so into reading Romance of the Three Kingdoms, he was tearing up. But this did make it easier for Shenzhen to continue. Using his memory, Shenzhen felt his way through the dark, and actually managed to reach the study door without being stopped. Shenzhen almost couldn't believe his luck was this good. Carefully slipped into the study. It was pitch black inside. He didn't dare turn on the lights. Such a huge study. How could he find it? What Yang Dong left for him. Just as Shenzhen was thinking, a strange voice suddenly came from behind. He immediately broke out in goosebumps and cold sweat. Are you looking for this? Damn, worst case scenario. He was caught red-handed. Shenzhen clenched his fists. His mind spun quickly, trying to figure out what to do. You must be Shenzhen. The unfamiliar voice sounded again from behind. This is what Yang Dong left for you. When Shenzhen didn't answer, the person behind continued. I noticed him going into the study after dinner, acting all sneaky. He only came out after more than 10 minutes. I figured he definitely did something in there. Sure enough, I found what he left for you. So I've just been waiting here for you. What do you want? Shenzhen turned around, but the room was just too dark. He couldn't see the person's face at all. I haven't told anyone about this.
He said I can sell it to you.
I really need money. Shenzhen was stunned. He asked, still doubtful. How much do you want? How much can you offer? The man shot back.
It's a beeper.
And there's a document. I haven't touched any of the stuff. Shenzhen still felt something was off. Just name your price. As long as you hand it over to me. And keep my identity a secret. I'll give you that amount. By the faint moonlight, Shenzhen could finally see the man clearly. He held up 5 fingers, gesturing 500 million. Shenzhen gasped in shock. This guy? Could it be he overheard my conversation with the 3 bosses? That's why he's blackmailing me? That's way too greedy. Isn't he worried he'll pull a muscle aiming too high? Seeing Shenzhen stay silent, The man seemed to lose patience. He put down 2 fingers. His tone sounded a bit tense. If 5,000 is too much. Is 3,000 okay? Say that again? Shen Zun wondered if he'd misheard the amount. Forget 3, how about 1,000? Shen Zun was at a loss for words with this guy. Though 10 grand was still a lot of money in this era, but to the current Shen Zun, it was basically pocket change. Even 8,000 works. Fine, 10,000 it is. Shen Zun didn't want to waste any more time. But I can't give it to you right now. My account is being monitored by them. When can you pay me? I really need the money now. Shen Zun sensed the man's attitude soften. How about this? Give me the pager first. Give me your account number. And I'll have my buddy transfer it to you tomorrow, okay? No idea what's going on with Shen Qian. How is she doing? No time to waste. Gotta hurry back. How can I trust you? By 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you haven't got your money, you can just tell your boss everything about me. What your boss will do. You should know better than me. 10 is a bit too late. The man was silent for a long time. He seemed to be torn. Shen Zun really didn't have time for him to hesitate. He pressed. Look, I promise I won't trick you. You're making this really hard for me. The man was still hesitating. What's so hard about it? You dragged it out so long. You have to add more money. Why does that sound so familiar? How much more are you asking for? 5,000, the man's tone softened again. Fine, I'll add another 10,000. Shen Zun just wanted him to stop dragging things out. Miss, the restroom is unclogged for you. The burly man was holding a plunger with one hand and wiping sweat from his forehead with the other. Then I won't bother you for now. Wait, not yet. Don't leave. Shen Qian didn't expect this guy to work that fast. He unclogged the bathroom in under 5 minutes. Miss, is there anything else I can help you with? The man asked curiously. Could you check the AC for me? Shen Qian wasn't good at lying. I think the air conditioner smells weird. Maybe it's been unused for too long? It's a bit moldy. Yeah, this room hasn't been used in a long time. The man nodded. All right, I'll check for you. Shen Qian thought to herself. Thank goodness, this guy's so straightforward. No bad intentions, at least. She felt a little more at ease. But the man's next words made Shen Qian break out in a cold sweat. By the way, miss, I haven't seen the gentleman who stays with you. He's too tired. He's sleeping like a log over there. Don't mind him, Shen Qian pointed at the bed 10 meters away. No, even us talking doesn't wake him. The man glanced over. Maybe because the lighting was too dim. He didn't look that closely. Then I'll try to be quieter. Shen Qian breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, she'd stuffed something under the covers beforehand. From a distance, it really looked like someone was there, lying down sleeping. Good thing this guy is so gullible. If it had been someone smarter, the whole thing would probably be exposed. Even though this guy is a bit slow, his hands are surprisingly efficient. In less than 3 minutes, he took out the AC filter, washed and reinstalled it. Everything was smooth and seamless. All in one go. Even Shen Qian was impressed. Bro, slow down a bit. Miss, it should be fine now. The man secured the AC cover tightly, double-checked it and told Shen Qian. Well, if there's nothing else then... The man was cut off by Shen Qian before he could finish. You worked up a sweat. If you go out now, you'll catch a cold. Why not take a shower before you go? The man was stunned. He touched his crew cut. Miss, I appreciate the offer, but I need to stay here to keep you two safe. Sir, don't be shy. It's so late, and I'm still troubling you. I honestly feel bad about it. Shen Qian put on a fake smile. Why not just relax and take a hot shower? Really, it's not necessary. Miss, I still have work to do. I can't leave my post without permission. My boss will dock my pay. Isn't your job just to keep an eye on us and keep us safe? We're here minding our own business. As long as we don't give you trouble, right? Shen Qian's lies were getting better. Besides, your boss is already asleep. There's no CCTV here. Who'd know if you're slacking off? Shen Qian batted her big, charming eyes. Right? Sir, miss, I really do appreciate your kindness. But I was paid to do a job, and I can't let my employer down, the man said righteously, puffing his chest with pride. He spoke with great dignity. Shen Qian was speechless. Is this guy totally immune to flattery? If it were a regular guy, And Shen Qian, a gorgeous woman, tried so hard to persuade him. He probably would have caved in ages ago. But this guy didn't get flustered at all. It's Li Pu, opening the door for Li Pu. Li Pu's home. All right, miss. It's late, get some rest. I won't bother you any longer. With that, the man turned to leave. Shen Qian was sweating with anxiety. If he leaves now, then Shen Zan won't be able to come back. Shen Qian stubbornly clenched her fists. No matter what tonight, I have to keep this guy here. Shen Qian hurriedly grabbed the man's sleeve, forcing a smile uglier than a crying face. Sir, you must be thirsty, right? How about a drink first? Let's just get some water before we leave. No need, miss. I'm not thirsty right now. Do you want something to eat then? I've already had a late night snack. Well, do you need to use the restroom first? Shen Qian was so nervous, she barely knew what she was saying. Miss, are you hiding something from me? The big guy seemed to realize something. His gaze shifted to the large bed in the distance. Shen Qian thought, oh no. Is my secret about to be exposed? No, what could I possibly be hiding from you? Why were we making so much noise? But this gentleman seems to act like he can't hear a thing. Great, now we've been noticed. Is that really the case at this point? Shen Qian could only play dumb. He just rolled over, didn't he? I need to go check right now. Please move aside. The big guy's tone turned serious. It's so late. Let's not bother him anymore. Sweat broke out across Shen Qian's forehead. Her heart was beating over 120. If he wakes up grumpy and upsets your boss, you'll probably get your pay docked. Let me say this one last time. Please move aside. The big guy was the definition of stubborn. No matter how much Shen Qian tried to persuade him, he wouldn't listen. At this point, if she kept blocking him,
He might actually get physical.
helpless, Shen Qian slowly stepped back. She watched him cross her last line of defense. In the blink of an eye, the big guy was at the bedside. He grabbed a corner of the blanket, about to lift it and see for himself. The interrogated girl closed her eyes in despair. She slumped weakly against the wall. At this moment, she was overwhelmed with guilt. She had truly let him down. She could even foresee what the three bosses would do to them. Everything was over. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Hearing that familiar voice, Shen Qian's face, which had looked hopeless, suddenly regained color. You bastard! Why are you pulling my blanket? Are you crazy? Shen Zan rubbed his eyes and cursed it at the big guy. Do you have any idea what time it is? Why aren't you sleeping and instead yanking my blanket? Shen Zan sounded pretty pissed. If Shen Qian hadn't known what was really happening, she probably would have been just as scared by this guy. Now that's what I call acting. Sorry, sir. I just wanted to confirm, sir, that you were here. Confirm what? It's so late. If I wasn't sleeping here, would I seriously go down to the first floor and hang out? I was sleeping great, you know. And then you had to show up. I thought I was about to get assassinated or something. I'm really sorry. Please forgive my rudeness. You want me to tell your boss tomorrow and get you fired. You're gonna get fired just like that. Hearing this threat, the big guy started to panic. No, please, sir. Please don't tell my boss. I don't want to lose this job. Please don't hold this against me. Forgive me just this once. The big guy bowed and apologized repeatedly, looking genuinely sincere. After all this, even Shen Jun felt bad about saying anything harsh. Shen Xing pretended to look annoyed. All right. I can't be bothered to argue with you. Just go do your job. Don't disturb my sleep. Thank you, sir. I'm leaving now. With that, the big guy rushed out of the room as fast as possible, carefully closing the door behind him, afraid he'd interrupt Shen Xing's rest. After he'd left, Shen Xing seemed completely drained, collapsing onto the floor. Her voice even sounded a little choked up. When did you come back? You scared me to death. Woo! Shen Zan was startled by her reaction and jumped off the bed in a hurry. He put his arm around her shoulder and gently comforted her. I'm sorry. I got here late. I made you worry. I climbed in from the study window on the first floor. I saw you two talking, so I didn't let you know. Shen Zan gently stroked her hair and whispered softly. Thanks to you, I was able to buy some time. Shen Qian was surprised, studying Shen Zan carefully. Worried, she said. climbing in through the window. It's really high here. What if you fell? I'm obviously fine. Shenzhen smiled. Were you worried about me? Isn't it totally normal for a sister to worry about her brother? Shen Qian replied shyly but stubbornly. TCH, Shenzhen curled his lip. He didn't want to argue about it any longer. Did you get the stuff? What is it? It's enough to let us both escape their control. A slight smile played on Shenzhen's lips. The next morning, Mr. Shen, Miss Shen, are you awake? Butler Liu arrived at their door right on time. Shenzhen's voice came from inside. So early, can't we sleep in a bit? The chairman invites you both to the main hall for breakfast. The door opened. Shenzhen and Shen Qian were already dressed and ready. They greeted Butler Liu. Morning. We were just about to have breakfast. I'm starving. They followed Butler Liu to the dining room. The three bosses were already there and had started on breakfast. Huang Haitao greeted Shen Jun as he walked in, warmly calling out to him. Morning, Zhao Shen. Did you sleep well here last night? Thanks to you. The bed here is pretty comfortable, but I still like my own bed better. Shen Zan yawned and sat down with Shen Qian. No rush, Zhao Shen. You'll be back in just a few days. You can't rush hot tofu anyway. Director Huang chimed in. If you really can't get used to sleeping here, I'll send someone to your place. Just have them bring your bed over. Director Hu, always hot-tempered, burst out laughing. Shenzhen's foot twitched a little, but he held it together.
He only managed an awkward laugh.
Zhao Shen, the equipment is already being installed. Today's the first day. Are you confident? Huang Haitao stuffed a sandwich in his mouth. All our money is riding on you. Shenzhen understood. This was really a warning not to try any funny business. No worries, I'm calm as can be. Honestly, even without being threatened, stock manipulation was a breeze for Shenzhen. In his previous life, Shenzhen had lost count of how many companies had hired him as the trader. He'd basically always fulfilled the client's requests perfectly. But this time, even before finishing breakfast, it was already 9 o'clock. The market would open in half an hour. The equipment was already installed. Shen Qian was logging into the accounts, while Shenzhen sat idly in the chair, fidgeting with his hands. The three bosses sat right behind him, watching closely. There were 7 companies in total, each with an average market cap under 300 million for now. The three bosses prepared several 1 yuan accounts for Shen Jun today. He was in full control of all of them. He was to run the operation himself. Shen Qian is in charge of managing the funds, even though he's seen a lot in his life. Seeing so much money, he still couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. But to Shenzhen, 100 million is nothing at all. If you really add up all the funds he's handled, it's probably an astronomical figure. When the time hit 9:30, the stock market opened right on time. The laziness in Shenzhen's eyes suddenly disappeared and became bright. Buy 30 million worth of stock in Company B, divided over 3 batches. Buy 10 million worth of stock in Company D, divided over 5 times. Did anyone notice one of our stocks? Take it slow, don't rush. Damn, this kid's really something. Ji Yudong stared at the ever-climbing stock prices. His eyes almost popped out. He's not just good. He's a downright monster. Director Wang squinted and said, one person operating 7 stocks at the same time, and still managing everything in perfect order. If that's not a monster, what is? Old Wang, if he really meets our requirements in 3 days, should we really let him go? Should we really let him leave? Director Wu asked. If he's willing to keep working for us, letting him go wouldn't be out of the question. Huang Haitao kept his eyes fixed on the big screen ahead. What if he's not willing? Hey, he doesn't have a choice, Huang Haitao said expressionlessly. If it's someone we want in Juzhou, would anyone else even dare to want him? Yeah, why didn't I think of that? That's why you're the man? Old Wang, but after all, we did kidnap him.
He must hold a grudge against us.
We need to find a way to make him stay. Director Huang lit up a cigar for himself. That's not hard to solve. 100 million. You in or not? Not in? 200 million. 300 million, Director Hu said casually. I'll bury him in money. You really think a guy with that ability would be short on money? Director Huang rolled his eyes. So what do you suggest? Huang Haitao still stared expressionlessly at the big screen. If we can't use him, then we have to get rid of him. On a certain stock forum, a group of investors were passionately discussing today's market trends. User, brothers, the market really sucks.
It's all green again today.
I can't hold on much longer. User B, damn it. I've already lost 40% the past 2 days. If this keeps up, I'll be working for nothing this whole year. User C, guys, I lost a Mercedes. Anyone who can help me out? User A, where did you lose it? User B, lost the car, and you still have time to chat on the forum. Hurry up and call the cops. User C, cops are useless. User D, how so? User C, I lost it in the Hong Kong stock market, and attached a screenshot of his returns. The screenshot clearly showed earnings of 400,000. Once this picture was posted, the comments below the post all read 666. User A, anyone? Wanna recommend a solid stock? User B, you wish. Asia's in a financial crisis. Where are you going to find a reliable stock? User D, guys, I think I found a pretty good stock. It didn't go down with the market. User C, internet companies. That's probably a trap. You take a hit in the morning and get sliced in the afternoon. Only fools would bet on that. User A, the gains look kind of crazy. It's only just opened and it's already up 3%. User D, I'm going all in first. You guys keep watching if you want. User D attached a screenshot. The picture clearly showed an order of 1 million. Once the screenshot was posted, the comments below the post all read worship, respect to the boss. User A, boss, you're awesome. I'm following your move. User B, damn. Even if this is a trap, at least it's a trap that's in the green. I'm adding more to my position too. In no time, the whole forum was talking about this stock. Some people thought this company was riding the wave. Others felt the rally was just a mirage. Dropping is the general trend. Inside a certain mansion, Boss Huang, all our companies turned from green to red today, especially Qiangsheng Internet Company. One share is now over 0.35. As of 10 a.m., the trading volume has broken through the black wire. The secretary, excited, reported the impressive results to Huang Haitao, excitedly sharing this astonishing report by Huang Haitao's side. Qiangsheng's rally has now passed 10%. It's expected to hit 20% before the market break. Even the lowest of the other companies are up at least 3%. With numbers like this, even the three big bosses couldn't help but gasp. Talent doesn't even describe this kid anymore. He's a straight-up genius. No, a prodigy. Jiu Dong stared at the big screen, afraid to even breathe. There's no daily price limit in the Hong Kong market. I'm really curious to see how far this kid can go today. But it's just that the early cash investment is pretty big. Director Huang sighed. The 100 million we prepared wasn't even enough for him for 1 hour. Old Huang, can't you aim a bit higher? Director Wu patted him on the shoulder. I did a rough calculation, after subtracting the 300 million we already invested, to drive up the stock price. At the current price, we're still netting a profit of 1 billion. As long as we dump all the shares when the time comes, how could we not make our money back? Thank you, Sister Qian. Now the market has stabilized. You can take a break. Shen Zun handed a bottle of water to Shen Qian, who was sitting beside him. Thanks. Shen Qian took the water,
his hands still shaking a little.
He could hardly believe that in just one morning, the stock prices of these companies in their hands jumped so much. Set your sights higher. This is only the beginning. Shen Shen didn't care at all. The real show starts later. But is this really okay? Shen Qian looked worried. I'm afraid this might soon get out of control. Hey, relax. It's all part of the plan. Right before the morning trading halt, the stock forum exploded. Usually a post with over 100 views was considered really popular. But today one post broke 10,000 views. User, bought Qiangsheng. Earned back all my losses for the past while. Bro, user B, damn. Thought I'd be broke this year. Good thing I caught Qiangsheng. This stock is unbeatable. User, I hereby announce King is my daddy. User B. User Chun Fuyi D, brothers, I'm in a terrific mood today. Let me send out a red envelope for everyone to boost the fun. Then he sent out a 1,000 yuan red envelope. It was snatched up in just 1 minute. User A, boss is so generous. User B, Boss made enough this morning to buy a Benz. Tore it up. Then user D sent another screenshot. The picture shows his earnings for today. Today earnings 369,753.63 yuan. User C, big boss. Is it too late if I join now? I admit I was a bit loud just now. User D said. That's all there is. Then another picture was sent. The picture shows a purchase of 1 million yuan. The purchase time was exactly 1 minute before the trading halt. With user D adding more funds again, the entire forum became even more uncontrollable. Just in one morning, the attitude of forum users toward Kangsheng Company completely shifted. So everyone rushed to buy, believing they'll make a profit. For a while, the reputation of Kangsheng Company started spreading among stock circles. Lunch break ended at 1 p.m. Looking at Kangsheng Company's K-line, it's like a perfectly straight golden cudgel, shooting straight up to the sky. Countless people were extremely excited by it. Some even got the illusion that the bull market had arrived. But actually, the main board was still in the red. Only these few companies like Kangsheng performed incredibly beyond expectations. Boss Wang and Mr. Shen said we should add another 100 million. The secretary came up to Huang Heitao, her voice a little shaky. Just add it. You don't need to tell me about such small things. Huang Haitao squinted as he watched the stocks ahead. Old Huang, we've already added 500 million. Mr. Dong frowned. If we keep going like this, our cash flow probably won't last much longer. Hey, old Wang. This is why you're called Old Huang, and why he's called Brother Wang. Chairman Hu laughed heartily twice. So what if we burn through all our cash? Just sell some of the stocks we have. Cash in a little, that's all. How about we sell a bit now then? Old Huang, are you out of your mind? The momentum is great right now. If you sell now, that basically means you're admitting a loss. Chairman Hu said with obvious contempt. Look at how timid you are. We've only spent a few 100 million. And you're already scared like this. I'm just worried the price will drop. Worried about what? Worried? Chairman Hu was totally dismissive. If the stock price really drops, I'll eat this monitor right here. Stock Investors Forum. Today's traffic is several times the usual amount. One particular post's view count has even exceeded 30,000. That's a scene you could hardly imagine on a normal day. The main reason is many investors are all following a user called Common Prosperity's recommendations. He's recommended several stocks on the forum, and each one he bought at least 1 million. Such dashing trades from a retail investor are extremely rare these days. What's even rarer, under current market conditions, is that every single stock he picks has all turned out in the green without exception. Even those that were in the red before he bought turned green after he cut his position. People like this are usually called gambling wizards. Even more impressive, he's posted almost all his trades publicly in the forum. In other words, as long as you follow his trades, you'll never lose.
And so,
Common Prosperity has been called a living Buddha by forum users, won the admiration and support of countless investors. Unfortunately, there are no trending searches in this era, or Common Prosperity would definitely be today's hottest topic. User Brother Prosperity, you're a true legend. Watching your operations today has left me speechless. User 1, no idea where Brother Prosperity came from. But as for the stock market, I'd really love to ask you some questions. Would you honor me with a dinner sometime? That post was followed by a picture. Still a selfie of a beautiful woman. One that's quite seductive. User B, damn. Such a shameless temptress. Is our Brother Prosperity really that shallow? User B immediately posted a selfie too, with the message, Brother Prosperity, is a guy okay? The comment below was full of mockery for User B. But everyone started posting their own selfies. There are men and women alike. Even an elderly man with a head full of white hair. User C brothers. I want to build a monument for Brother Prosperity. What inscription do you think would be good? This whole thing was causing a huge stir among investors. But the actual owners of the company had zero interest in the retail crowd's little games. Not the slightest bit interested. Time passed quickly. Trading hours ended. Today in Hong Kong stocks, there were really only two types of people. Those who bought Kangsheng Company shares, and those who didn't buy Kangsheng Company shares. for investors holding Kingsheng shares. You can sum it up in 2 words. Boss Huang today, our subsidiaries, basically achieved 3 straight jumps in market cap, the most outstanding one being Kingsheng Company. Its value has doubled. Now a single share is worth 0.8 yuan.
Today,
Mr. Shen spent 800 million raising the price. Right now, the stocks our group owns in these companies are worth about 4 billion yuan, whereas before today, the total value of these companies' stocks was no more than 500 million. So, our group's net profit for today is around 2.7 billion yuan. The CFO's hands trembled as he held today's financial report. You have to realize, because of the Black Swan event 2 days ago, under the names of the Big Three, the group's loss was around 5 billion yuan. But today, after just 1 day, we've made back more than half. And that's in a depressed market. You want to know what a wild roller coaster looks like. This is what from low to high really means. Brother Shen, you really are a genius of our time. Wang Heitao jogged over with a smile toward Shen Jun. Today was really hard work. Yeah, kind of tiring. Tonight, get a couple of skilled massage therapists for me and my sister. Okay, Shen Zun rubbed his somewhat sore eyes, stood up and stretched out. Brother Shen, just let me know if you need anything. Well, what if I want to go home? Is that possible too? Shen Zun raised his eyelids. Brother Shen wants to go home. Of course that's fine. Huang Hadao gave a forced smile and said, but there's still 2 days before the date we agreed on. 2 days later, I'll definitely let you go home. Shen Zun sneered coldly in his heart. Son of a bitch. Just dodging the real issue again. Enough, just tell them to get dinner ready. After we eat, we'll need our massages. Half an hour before the honey day began. Common prosperity. No change to the Kingsheng position today. If you have funds, add more. If not, borrow some. If you really can't, figure something out yourself. User A, Brother Prosperity. Yesterday, Kingsheng shot up like a rocket. Should we really go all in today? User B, Rich Bro. I threw all my savings into this. You're not tricking us, are you? User C, Shit. What are you all afraid of? Afraid of making money? Double down, double down. Common prosperity. Trust me, brothers. I guarantee we'll keep making money today. User A, Trust Rich Bro. Just do it, no hesitation. User B, The Timid Starve. The bold get rich charge. User C, I missed out on Rich Bro yesterday. Lost 1 million. There's no way I can lose today. I sold my Audi 6. Got 400,000 from it. I'll even pawn my house later. This comment has a picture attached. It shows a successful purchase. Amount 400,000. After the market opened, Kiangshan Company shocked everyone again. The opening price surged 20% in one go. Crazy, totally insane. For a while, Rich Bro's name echoed all over the forum. He became the unshakable god in every retail investor's heart. User A, starting today. I've got 2 fathers now. User B, what is Rich Bro's background? A fortune teller? User C, guys, I've changed my mind. No more putting up a monument for Rich Bro. I'm building a shrine instead. The following posts, count me in for incense money. User A, I already threw away the God of Wealth statue in my house. Got a new God of Wealth now. What do you all think? There's a photo attached to the door. In the photo, the shrine's original deity was replaced with the common prosperity avatar. Up to now, 9 out of 10 posts on the forum are discussing common prosperity. Who is this person really? Some say he's an insider with secret info. Others say he just got lucky. There's an even wilder theory that he's the reincarnation of the God of Wealth. No matter what he buys, he profits, even though no one knows who he really is. Nobody doubts his stock moves. Every step he takes is flawless. Sometimes, he can even dodge minor drops. With the market closed, the second day's trading also ended. 15 billion was spent today to push up the stock price. The CFO looked at the report.
his mind already kinda hazy.
He could hardly believe.
He prepared this report himself.
But just Kiangsheng Company's market cap alone has already hit 6 billion. Just give me the net profit. Huang Hatao interrupted the CFO. Today's net profit is 6.2 billion. The third day, the last day of Shenzhen's agreement with the 3 bosses. Boss Huang, today is the final day, right? Shenzhen sat at the round table, cutting a top-tier New Zealand Wagyu steak with knife and fork. Next to the steak, the wine was from 1976, a Romani Conti worth hundreds of thousands. There's a saying, it's easy to go from frugal to lavish, but hard to go from lavish to frugal. Shenzhen truly experienced that firsthand. On his first day of being taken captive, the three bosses prepared a feast for him, lots of dishes. But if Shenzhen didn't agree to their terms, they'd probably flip the table right there. But ever since he proved himself in front of them, Shenzhen's status shot up like a rocket. The three bosses even treated him like a treasure. He's living in a presidential suite-level room, eating the kind of gourmet food billionaire bosses have, enjoying this kind of life. A normal person would be spoiled by now. But Shenzhen isn't someone who indulges in comfort. His agreement with the three bosses was to average the stock prices of these companies, raising each share to 10 yuan. But as of yesterday afternoon, just Kangsheng Group's stock alone had already soared to an incredible 20 yuan per share. Bear in mind, before Shenzhen started trading for Kangsheng, the stock was only at a pitiful 0.2 yuan per share. After Shenzhen's trades, Kangsheng's market cap shot up 100 times. Yes, it was also thanks to the bosses constantly investing. But they all knew deep down, a regular trader invests $1 million, and a 5% return is already pretty good. A professional trader usually gets about a 20% return. So what's Shenzhen's return rate? A staggering 500%. Honestly, Shenzhen had already fulfilled his deal with the bosses. They all knew it, but none of them brought it up. The bosses' intentions were obvious. Even if today passes, they won't let you go. After all, who'd let go of a golden goose? Much less these greedy capitalists. Especially greedy capitalists. When it's all done, please keep your promise, and let my sister and me go home. Shenzhen stuffed a piece of steak into his mouth. Huang Haitao, sitting across from him, was the same as always. Smiling with his mouth but not his eyes, said, "This period really has been tough on you, Brother Shen. After we succeed today, I have to throw a banquet to thank you." Boss Huang, that's not necessary. We haven't contacted our family in a long time. I'm afraid they're worried. What are you talking about? Nobody's allowed to leave, okay? If you go, you're disrespecting me, Wang. Huang Haitao still looked friendly as ever. But the more Shenzhen looked at him, the more he wanted to punch this fat pig. Really, that's not necessary. It's been so long since we've contacted our family. They must be really anxious. Shenzhen put on a pleading look. Hey, Brother Shen. Rest assured, really. Your father and mother. How could I neglect them? They're doing great right now. If you don't believe me, look at this. Huang Haitao somehow pulled out a remote, pressed a button on the big TV by the round table. Suddenly, there was a picture. Mom, Dad, Shen Qian was covering her mouth in disbelief and shouted that even uncle and aunt were there. On the screen, Shenzhen and Shen Qian's parents appeared together in the same room. They all looked really serious. Shenzhen's face twitched a couple of times. He forced down his anger. Boss Wang, what is this? Ah, Brother Shen, don't misunderstand. The villa where your parents are staying is under my name. They have dedicated staff serving them. When did you... I always see them wandering around the streets. How dangerous is that? It's better if I find them a safe place to stay. Don't you agree? Shen Qian was about to curse Huang Haitao for being shameless, but Shenzhen grabbed his slender arm. Both our parents are in his hands. We can't turn against him yet, Shenzhen whispered to Shen Qian. But rest assured, I will definitely make them pay.
Today,
Shenzhen, hidden under the table, clenched his fists, his knuckles cracking. Shen Qian looked at the man in front of him. His face was full of resolve and determination. Somehow,
he could trust him unconditionally.
His anxious heart actually just settled down. Mr. Huang, I understand your good intentions. I'll stay tonight then. Seeing that Shenzhen was so sensible, Huang Haitao beamed with joy. Good. Brother Shen is truly straightforward. Come, I'll toast you. Shenzhen expressionlessly raised his glass and drained the glass, which was still half full of red wine, having eaten and drunk his fill. Boss Huang, I'm off to take care of some business. Shenzhen put down his glass and quickly left the table with Shen Qian. Brother Huang, you really leave no stone unturned. I didn't expect it would be so easy to get this kid in line. Director Hu, still at the table, swirled the red wine glass in his hand. We found his Achilles heel. This kid has no wife, no kids. The only thing we can hold over him are his two old folks at home. They say family is a man's only true tether. That statement is indeed absolutely true. As long as his parents are in our hands, this golden goose will keep laying for us. Golden eggs, Huang Heitao chuckled disdainfully. Genius. Even if you're a prodigy, so what? In this territory of Zhuzhou,
Even if Jesus came.
he'd still have to work for us. Brother Huang is right. Director Wu also laughed heartily. But as soon as he turned around, he found Director Wang next to him, looking deeply troubled. Huang, what's wrong? Did your wife run off with someone? Get lost. Your wife ran off with someone. Director Huang gave him a glare. I'm just wondering, if things are going a little too smoothly for us, isn't smooth good? Director Hu said, not understanding. So you mean it wouldn't be strange unless we were losing money? I just feel like something's not right, but I can't pinpoint what it is. Director Huang said with concern. I've been having the same dream for the past 2 days. What dream? Director Hu asked, puzzled. I dreamt that the three of us were squatting in a rat hole. Damn it. Are you nuts? Director Hu punched him in the chest. Do you want me to book you a doctor's appointment? You're the one who's sick. Is it wrong for me to worry? Who's as thick-headed as you? Who are you calling thick-headed? Enough! Seeing the atmosphere between the two starting to get strange, Huang Haitao frowned and cursed. Are you two still 5-year-olds? Shouting and yelling here, what kind of behavior is that? After Huang Haitao cursed at them, Director Hu and Director Huang quickly stood up, bowed, and admitted their mistake. Sorry, Brother Wang. Old Hu, when will you ever change your temper? Change. I'll definitely change it. Director Hu, shedding his usual irritable demeanor, now looked like a child who had made a mistake and was being punished by his parents. And you, my old Huang. Huang Haitao shook his head and said with bitter regret, stop being like that. Can you stop being so suspicious all the time? And squatting in a rat hole together? Do you know why the Zhuzhou Police Department can afford to keep a bunch of lazy good-for-nothings and still pay their salaries? Huang Haitao pointed at Director Wang's nose and cursed. It's not because Zhuzhou's finances are so abundant, but because the taxes I alone pay each year are enough to support this entire district. Arrest me. Why would they arrest me? All the officials in Zhuzhou are my people. If they arrest me, Zhuzhou's governor would have to be replaced. Do you understand or not? I understand, Director Huang said, filled with dread and trepidation. I'm not questioning your influence. I'm just worried that kid might stir up some trouble for us. Huang Haitao said dismissively. Him? A mere greenhorn. A punk kid. This nouveau rich? I've been in Zhuzhou for so many years, spent so much money, and fattened up so many people. Do you think I've been doing nothing? He and his parents are both under our noses. What can he do? Does he dare to play tricks on us? Old Huang Hatao's face changed from red to pale, and he sighed. In Zhuzhou, even if the sky falls, there's no need to be afraid, because I've got things covered here. Understand? Understand. Director Huang nodded his head like a chick pecking at rice. Knock. At this moment, a knocking sound came from outside the dining room. Huang Hatao sighed and sat down, and seeing the person who entered asked, Zhao Lei, why are you here? The one called Zhao Lei was precisely the CFO of the Three Big Bosses group. He was panting heavily, looking as if he had just run 10 kilometers. Mr. Huang, the other side, says they need more money. Huang Haitao frowned. Just do as Mr. Shen says. Didn't I tell you? Not to report such matters to me. Zhao Lei, intimidated by Huang Haitao's scolding, turned a little pale, and carefully said, but the amount this time is a bit large. I can't make the decision. That's why I came to inform you. How much? Zhao Lei didn't speak, but nervously held up 2 fingers. 200 million? Big deal. You call that a lot? Zhao Lei shook his head. Huang Haitao frowned deeper. Just tell me the amount directly. Don't play guessing games with me. 2 billion. As the words fell, even the 3 big bosses, who had seen their share of ups and downs, were stunned simultaneously. Previously, The largest single amount they had ever invested was only 300 million. But this time, Shenzhen actually demanded they invest 2 billion in one go. Investing such a large amount of cash at once, even for the three big bosses, required careful consideration. A cash flow of 2 billion is not the same as assets. In this era, a company that could directly produce 100 million in cash was already considered very impressive. But Shenzhen was asking them to come up with 2 billion all at once. Brother Huang, I don't think we can invest. If we invest, our cash flow will be cut off. The stock price is almost there. Let's just pull out and sell, Director Huang quickly advised. But Mr. Shen said, if the bosses are willing to invest these 2 billion, he guarantees that today's profit will reach at least 10 billion. Zhao Lei added. The three simultaneously gasped. Brother Huang, I think we must invest in this. Director Hu abruptly stood up. Anyway, we'll get our capital back this afternoon. So what if we invest? We can't invest. If something goes wrong, we might not be able to handle it. Director Huang still objects. Old Wang, how are you so lacking in courage? Ji Yudong sneered at his cowardly behavior. With that courage, you shouldn't be in finance. You might as well just become a civil servant. What did you say? Director Huang got fired up after being provoked. Now he's losing his temper. I don't want to be reckless like you. Enough, I'm still here. Are you two ever going to stop? Huang Haitao slapped the table. He knocked over the red wine on the table. Is it really appropriate for me to add this? Director Wu tried to persuade him again, but was interrupted. I've made up my mind. Don't mention it again. All right, after hesitating multiple times, Director Huang decided to give up persuasion. Common prosperity, brothers. Same thing as before. Those with ammo, add more. Those without, borrow some. Anyone who can go all in, do it now. All in received by online users. Brothers, keep up. User B, I took my son's New Year's money for this. Let's go, brothers. User C, I almost sold my wife for this. He attached a picture. It's a photo of him signing a home sale contract with an agent. Common prosperity 1 hour later is crucial. Everyone, be sure to keep up with my updates. Don't fall behind. Users, got it. Today's stock market is especially lively.
Especially.
The stocks of the companies owned by the three big bosses, just like the trend from 2 days ago. They kept rising without pause. But today's surge was clearly more fierce. Just an hour and a half after opening, Kiangshen Company's stock price had risen by 80%. This was an unprecedented scene in the stock market. Brothers, I originally owed about $1 million from gambling. Now I've got it all back. Thank you, Wealth Brother. From now on, I'm your loyal follower. My mother is seriously ill. She needs a lot of money for surgery. At first, I just wanted to invest a few thousand to try. Unexpectedly, I actually earned the surgery money. Wealth Bro, you're my... During this time, basically anyone who bought the stocks Wealth Bro recommended has pretty much achieved financial freedom within days. Even crazier, within the next hour, these stocks actually doubled. The first 5 stocks even doubled again. An unprecedented achievement. In these 3 days, the trading volume of Kiangshen Company even reached an astonishing trillion. But just as everyone thought that these stocks would keep rising, then Common Prosperity posted, brothers, anyone holding these company shares, sell them all. A simple sentence sparked an explosion of comments. Users, damn. Is this going to scalp us? Looking this good, are we really selling everything? User B, Wealth Bro, are you absolutely sure? Sell everything. Common Prosperity, yes. Let me repeat, sell it all. And he attached a screenshot. The image showed Common Prosperity's user ID, as well as the current holding amount. It was clear in the image. He had cleared out all his positions. Nothing was left. Just 1 minute after Common Prosperity's post, the mentioned company's stock prices immediately stopped rising. After a brief pause, the stock price dropped sharply. It set off a huge wave, blew up the entire forum. All the investors lost it. Those few stocks that were hot just days ago. When close to breaking past 50, the K-line crashed down like a plane. After Common Prosperity announced the news, in just 5 minutes, they dropped 5% straight. Users, damn. Wealth Bro is truly a god. He said it would fall, and it instantly did. Thank God I got out fast. User B, damn it. I seriously suspect Wealth Bro is the operator behind the scenes. Otherwise, how could he be so accurate? User C, who cares if he's the operator? We made money anyway. No matter what. Wealth Bro is my second dad now. Bang! Huang Haitao got so angry his lungs almost burst. His face turned as dark as pig's liver. What's going on? What the hell is happening? Finance Jialu lowered his head and nervously said, they say it's because someone is dumping large amounts at low prices. After selling off stocks from our companies, they then buy back in big chunks, then dump again at low prices. Low price dumping. Is someone crazy? Huang Haitao asked in confusion. Who would do something so destructive and pointless? I don't know either. Jia Lu shook his head. Huang Bro, is it possible that Shen Zun did this? Jiu Dong shouted, face red and eyes glaring. It must have been this guy's doing. I'm gonna kill him. Where's Shen Zun? Huang Haitao's eyes turned cold. A barely concealed murderous look appeared in his eyes. That kid actually dared to mess with me. Butler Liu, bring him to see me. Butler Liu bowed slightly.
Acknowledged.
Immediately sell all our stocks. Leave none. Not a single share left. That kid's gone crazy. Suddenly, Huang Haitao remembered. He still had a bunch of shares from hollow companies. Companies with no real business. If he didn't sell quickly now,
He might never be able to recover them.
I've already ordered them to handle it. But finance glanced at Huang Haitao. After seeing his murderous glare, didn't dare say much. But what's the fear? Tell me everything at once. Afraid it's too late. The stock price now, compared to the peak, is about to be cut in half. All three bosses froze in shock. For a moment, they couldn't believe their ears. Director Huang quickly opened his computer, logged into the stock exchange and found. It was just as finance had said. Stock price was almost halved. If you list the price a bit lower, Director Huang quickly asked. Number. The person dumping is offering even lower. Besides him, it seems like in the market, few people left dare to buy these companies' stocks. Bulging veins appeared on Huang Haitao's forehead. His eyes were bloodshot. Where's Shen Zun? Let him come see me, master. Mr. Shen says he can't get away right now. He wants you to come see him in person. Damn bastard. Huang Haitao nearly ground his molars to bits. He waved his hand. Let's go. Let's go check it out. What kind of game is this guy playing? They could only see the group of people storming angrily into the trading room. Only Shen Zun was sitting at the trading desk by himself, clipping his nails. His eyes weren't even on the screen. Shen Zun, are you asking for trouble? Director Hu is notoriously hot-tempered. He angrily strode right up to Shen Zun. He flipped over Shen Zun's entire desk. Director Hu, what are you doing? Shen Zun asked, looking completely confused. He looked just like an innocent kid. You know exactly what's going on. Director Hu was burning with rage. Didn't you mess with the stock price? What's wrong with the stock price? The monitor just broke. I have no idea what's going on. Are you out of your mind? Director Hu saw he wouldn't admit it, so his anger exploded. He was about to throw a punch at Shen Zun's face. Shen Zun scoffed lightly, raised his left arm, caught Director Hu's hook punch perfectly. Then, he immediately followed up with another punch, hitting Director Hu right in the gut. Director Hu cried out in pain, quickly stepping back 2 paces, holding his stomach and gasping for air. They were completely caught off guard. In his previous life, Shen Zun hustled for money, even going every night to the boxing gym as a sparring partner, basically as a human punching bag. He had been immersed in fighting skills and techniques. As long as he wasn't up against a stronger opponent, Shen Zun believed he couldn't lose. Let alone Director Hu, pampered and privileged, whose health was ruined by alcohol and tobacco. Barely in his 50s. Honestly, for Shen Zun to take him down was effortless. Come on, Director Hu roared furiously. As soon as he finished speaking, Shen Zun darted forward, grabbing Director Hu by the neck with pinpoint accuracy. After taking him to the ground, used a rear hold to pin him down firmly. Even while on the ground, Director Hu tried to threaten him. Shen Zun suddenly tightened his grip. The former cried out in pain. Shen Zun, let go of Director Hu. Both Huang Haitao by the door and Director Huang were startled by Shen Zun's fierce moves. They were shocked. Shen Zun, let's talk. Huang Haitao forced himself to calm his anger. You're well aware. If you touch Director Hu, you and your family won't see tonight's moon. Threatening me. Shen Zun's eyes grew colder. Maybe you could threaten me 3 days ago, but not anymore. About the stock price. So you were the one behind it, weren't you? Huang Hatao's face twitched. What exactly did you do? What could I possibly do? I've been under your surveillance around the clock. How could I do anything? Shen Zun sneered. You wanted the price to go up. Did I make it go up? Since you've already figured it out, let's just be honest now. Huang Haitao wanted to tear Shen Zun apart, but now he couldn't touch him, because only he could turn things around. You have to remember, the three of them had invested nearly 4 billion yuan in cash, with stock prices cut in half now. The total market value of these companies should be around 5 billion, but they only own about 70% of these companies' shares. The remaining 30% is still in the hands of individual investors. In other words, even if they sold all their stocks, they'd only get about 3.5 billion. Considering the initial investment of over 4 billion, they're still losing more than 0.5 billion. The worst part is, the stock prices are still falling, and they haven't finished selling their shares yet. In this situation, if the three bosses don't want to cut their losses, they'll have to rely on Shenzhen and stop dumping shares at low prices. But the three still have Shenzhen's family as hostages, so they have enough leverage to negotiate with him. After all these twists, the scales are balanced again. Both sides have dirt on each other. No matter who wins, their open and covert struggle will finally end today, since we're all aware of what's going on. Let's just be straightforward. Huang Hatao went straight to the point. What's your goal? What goal do I even have? Shen Zun smiled indifferently. Boss Huang, I really don't understand your words. Then I'll ask bluntly. Huang Hatao was fuming now, both angry and anxious. What will make you stop? You're just upset about us holding your parents hostage. Fine, I can release them, but only if you help me stabilize the stock price. Shen Zun sneered. Boss Huang, when you were holding someone else's parents hostage, did you ever think this day would come? 2 chunks of wrinkled fat on Huang Haitao's face twitched violently, but he dared not act. Everything before was just a misunderstanding. Let's sit down and talk things over. All right, let's sit down and talk. Shen Zeng glanced out the window from the corner of his eye. It's all your people out there, right? So what do you really want? Right then, Huang Haitao's big cell phone suddenly rang. Shen Zeng chuckled and said, What are you standing there for? Aren't you going to answer it? What if it's important? Huang Haitao squinted his eyes, threw the phone to Director Huang behind him. You pick it up? Any other conditions? Just name it. Want money, women, or real estate? I can get it all for you. Shen Zeng shook his head with a smile.
He karate chopped Director Hu on the back of the neck.
Director Hu grunted and collapsed. My dear Boss Huang, do you really think I'm lacking any of those things? Shen Zeng clapped his hands, grabbed a chair, then sat cross-legged, staring at Huang Haitao. Let's not rush. Let's wait until he's done with the call. Huang Haitao looked over at Director Huang after hearing this. Director Huang looked pale. An ominous feeling crept up his back. After Director Huang hung up, his face was tense and gloomy. One of the companies, its stock price has dropped to 1 yuan. Most of the other companies' prices were cut and then cut again. We haven't even sold half our shares yet. Initial estimates, our 4 billion investment is basically gone. After hearing this news, Huang Haitao was dazed. In his whole life, it was his first time experiencing what it's like to fall from heaven straight into hell. What did 4 billion mean in the 1990s? 4 billion was their group's net income for over 2 years. 4 billion was enough to buy up the center of Juzhou. All the land within 5 kilometers around it could be completely contracted. This 4 billion was the group's essential funds. If the cash flow broke, the whole group could collapse. Huang Haitao's eyes went dark, and he fell backwards. Luckily, Director Huang caught him just in time. You won, go ahead and say it. What do you want to do? Although Huang Haitao doesn't want to admit it, he has to admit that he's been completely played by this young man in front of him. He's been spinning in circles. Do you know after you manipulated the share price at Sky Passenger Company and sold it at a high price, what the market will become? Shenzhen sneered coldly. It'll be a mess. Countless people will suffer because of your greed. Some may even commit suicide. Both of Shenzhen's parents in his previous life ended their own lives that way. He understands deeply how painful it is to lose one's parents. Countless complete families could be destroyed because of this. Capitalists who control investment ruin homes and ruin lives. Shenzhen absolutely won't allow such tragedies to continue. So he chose to risk his life to battle with the three big bosses. Who would have thought you're such a philanthropist? Huang Haitao sat on the ground and burst out laughing. So noble, huh?
Amazing.
But that's just you alone. People are selfish and greedy. If others go bankrupt, what does it have to do with me? Why should I empathize with others? I didn't expect that you, who disrupt the market and break the law, would at this moment still be able to say such things. Shenzhen shook his head. In a way, I actually kind of admire you. Don't you realize that it's your greed and selfishness that cost you over 4 billion? Huang Haitao loudly shoved Director Wang aside and shakily stood up. He pointed at Shen Jun and said, "You're the winner of this battle. You stand at the moral high ground. No matter what I say, I'm always wrong. But have you ever thought, what if I were the one who won? News media would rush to cover me. I'd become a legend in the investment world. I'd be written into history books. I'd be famous for ages." That's the truth. Shenzhen quietly listened to his words and shook his head. I don't deny what you're saying, but your actions are too vicious. I just can't agree with them. The law won't agree either. Like I need your approval or the laws. I am the law of Zhuzhou. No one knows when. Huang Haitao suddenly had a shiny black pistol in his hand. Shenzhen's heart skipped a beat. Looks like this guy can't take losing. He's about to make a move. Huang Haitao expertly chambered around and aimed the muzzle at Shenzhen. All his previous friendliness vanished. Right now he's showing his true colors, baring his fangs. He doesn't hesitate at all. After aiming his gun, he quickly fired, leaving Shenzhen no chance. Bang! The whole room was instantly filled with the acrid smell of gunpowder. Luckily, Shenzhen's eyesight is sharp. When Huang put his hand behind his back, Shenzhen noticed something was wrong. Once he saw it was a pistol, he reacted immediately. As soon as he got to the negotiation table, the bullet landed right next to Director Hu's head. If it had been 2 centimeters off, Director Hu's head might have been blown apart. Whoa, this guy is so ruthless, he doesn't even care about his own people.
Tell Director C.
Bury his parents in the villa for me. Shenzhen realized Huang Haitao was blinded by rage and ready for a life or death struggle. Hey, if you guys don't come out soon, I'm really going to get killed by him. Shenzhen decided to drop the act and shouted loudly out the window. Huang Haitao held the gun and laughed fiercely. Now you know you were wrong. Too late. Today I'm definitely going to kill you. Not even Jesus can save you. I'm talking to you, Huang Haitao. What you say doesn't matter. We're mainlanders here. We don't believe in Jesus. A crisp female voice rang out behind Huang Haitao. Huang Haitao instinctively turned to check the situation, but didn't realize when someone grabbed his hands. Moments later, a piercing scream echoed throughout the whole villa. Who are you? Do you know I know Huang Haitao? I'm the local kingpin of Zhuzhou. The female officer easily disarmed Huang Haitao and casually